Livens has a lot more than their opponent. 41 against 32, so you would expect Livens to play better.
You'd think so, yeah, and substantially more wins. You play, what is it, 18 matches of 4 games over the course of the season. So winning 9 more is actually a fair chunk more. But we don't know how the conferences stack up too well anymore. We had the preseason tournament a long time ago. The Pawns lost that 1-3 to the Livens, but we don't know if those rosters are going to have improved or not. Because of course, you come at market values based on your MMRs before the start of the season. They've had all this time to be coached by the other players within their franchise, by people outside of that, to improve by themselves, and maybe we'll see a very different result this time around.
And it also depends on the day. I said this yesterday in the last game as well. We had a sub in from the side of Terra. I don't know if anyone remembers it. It was King playing instead of Trixa. And it's a sub, so he's probably not gonna get to the level of his other teammates. At the end of the day, in my opinion, he was the best player on the field. Even though he is a sub, even though he normally doesn't play, he was still the best player on the field. So even though the team is on 7th place and has more losses than their opponent, it's not a guaranteed loss.
For sure. And it looks like we might now know the rosters that could be on the pitch as well. Cancel said Pawns. I think we only saw them maybe a couple of weeks ago last time we were on stream. It's going to be Polar, Blizz, and Risen, who, if I'm not mistaken, are their full starting roster. Yeah, checks the stats. Definitely the case. And Loopy as well. Absolutely nuts star player. It'd be Risen on the pitch, for the record. 1 goal per game. Every game he's played. Very consistent. And absolutely nuts stats to hold over the course of the season, frankly.
And something really interesting to look at as well, of course. I think everyone knows it. The amount of games played on the side of Pawns is way lower than the amount if you add it all up on the side of Livens. So the side of Pawns is a newer team. Have they adapted to each other good enough so they can play as an entire team? Or are they still a little laid back? That's a big question we gotta ask ourselves.
For sure. I mean, I did have a quick look through as well. It's like they have very comparable runs of form over the course of their last 5 games. That's going back to the middle of week 7. The Livens took like 2 extra games over the course of that time period, which when you're playing 20, I guess it's a fair amount, but it's not an incomparable amount. And I don't know quite what the strength of schedule was across those, so it's entirely possible that Castor Pawns just had a really rough time.
It's going to be an interesting match. Give me a quick prediction before we kick this game off.
Oh, high pressure. I'm going to say, oh, no, it's going to be best of 5. I want to say it was going to be a draw because it's that kind of series. I think I'm going to edge it towards the Livens as much as I've been hyping the Pawns up earlier on here. I expect some run of form to continue, but I'm thinking this one's going to be really close. What about you?
I am actually gonna give it to the Pawns. I'm gonna go against you. A new roster, we haven't seen their full potential over an entire length of a season, and there's a reason they picked these 2 new players up. Because they're good, because they know what they are doing. So I'm gonna go in favor of them with a 3-2. It's gonna be a game 5. We're gonna have a long evening.
Demonstrating that knowledge already, it seemed. Risen, that's Loopy, as I think we were mentioning on the stats before, got his goal of this game already. Biz rolling this one up around the top, and it's a lovely little double jump dunk. Just gets it over everyone at the top of the goal.
It's a little touch, but this touch is effective enough to put the Pawns 1-0 ahead, which is a great start of them. Now, I also had one more question for you. How do you expect both these teams to play? Do you expect them to play a little different than they did? More defensive, offensive, look more for passes? Or just straight shots on goal?
I reckon Council Sir Pawns are more naturalised towards defence. It's where they've played more over the course of the season. Definitely want more saves than they've had goals. But we'll see if that's how that comes to be. We saw a much more balanced story when we looked at the Living stats. But maybe these these Pawns can promote themselves into the following match.
It's for now, it's the Pawns being on offense all the time. Good backboard pass, this could be a dangerous shot. Let's get the saves by the opponent. The Pawns starting off really good.
Yeah, and they've held this league remarkably well as well. I think it was one of the critiques I really had from last time they were out and I was casting them. And they've got this one back into the mixer again. Risen should get this one down off the backboard. Where's his teammate to follow up? They're on it. They're absolutely on this offense right now. It's a really nice follow-up from this prospect side.
Liffits can't get underneath the pressure, and that's a good thing for the Pawns, as they are the underdog in this match. And if they can win this, it's going to be massive for them heading through in the play-ins. Rusin passes to the wall, can't do much with it, leaves the ball to Finny, but he just gives it straight back to his opponent. And you know, against the team of Pawns right now, after the first minute and a half, you can't give them the ball because they will maintain that pressure.
I'm really struggling to think of the last big offensive period that the Livens had. Finny might be about to start it here, though. Retsos and Kieran both up. Retsos, though, playing this one just wide of the net. Still some potential for pressure, though, but that's a nice... I mean, was it a pinch? Was it just a straight 1-2 clear? We don't know. The point is they got it out of their half, and the Council of Sir Pawns are back in this domineering position. We've gotten used to seeing them over the last 2 minutes having.
To the side, this is a mistake. They haven't made many of them, but Pawns here way too close to each other, but they luckily enough get away with it because the offensive half of the side of the Living was a little bit too late. This ball gets through, but doesn't go on target, gets played in front of the net, but they don't take advantage of it.
Not quite yet. Retsos, though, going back in. It's a miss. Polar, awkward. Kieran plays it underneath, but it's blocked out by Retsos, and there's nothing that Finny can do to tuck this one into the net. Council of Sir Pawns getting away with murder a bit. However, ultimately, the save was done by that DSQ esports player. Kieran, though, going at it again. Got one touch, but Polar deflecting this one away to the side, and Retsos can't tuck this straight back towards the net.
It's gonna be Biz putting it forward, maybe putting in a second one. They've been under some pressure for now. They started off strong, have gotten a little bit weaker over time. If they can secure that second goal, that could be massive. Rustin tries to go for the bump here. Sadly enough, he doesn't get it. Polar takes to the wall, takes to the ceiling. Ceiling pins, I thought, but he went for the reset. Shot of Biz, but it doesn't go in as well.
That one's bouncing weirdly, though. Risen, I thought he might have taken the ball for himself there. Biz, though, going to play this one to the side. Definitely the safer option in that scenario. He's going out from the far post. Polar again, far post. Really solid defensive rotation in Council of Sir Pawns here. That have kept them, well, not having conceded a goal thus far. Biz, though, with a miss. Kieran down low. It's off the post again. The fourth man for this side of the Council of Sir Pawns, pushing the DSQ Esports Livens side in. Ruin Retsos looking for another touch, but he's not going to find it. Kieran out to the midfield. It would have been nice if Finny was there, but he was also expecting to take that touch over on the side as well.
It was a nice idea for Polar, passing the ball to the side, but his teammate didn't realize it in time. Nice little touch there from Finny. Sadly enough, it doesn't contribute to a goal. Almost gets the dunk in. Sadly enough, it doesn't end well for them. It's now up to the Pawns again, once again in offense. They leave the ball for Finny. They have taken a way more defensive stance.
Kieran now. They just one up off the sidewall. Follow up potentially there. Polar going to get a weak touch of this one. Going to stall this offense for now. Retsos, though, going back in 35 seconds. What would a goal mean? Probably an awful lot to this DSQ side. You don't want to be going down early, and it's only a very short best of 5 series, let's not forget. Kieran just outright beats the defender on that touch. No 50 required, and that one goes through to Finny. 22 seconds. I'd say it's pretty likely we're going to see an overtime here.
Yeah, we are. We definitely are. It's a really good game, and Serene played it there really well. The defender couldn't do anything because the offender had 2 possibilities. He could shoot by himself or leave it for his teammate. So he had to make a choice, and he chose the wrong one. And now it's 1-1 again. Take it on. The offense is 1-up again. Biz in the defense. Heat doesn't know what to do here. Tries to take it forward. What can he do with that? 50 in the corner. Ball might end up in the middle. It's Biz playing it to the backboard. Can he double touch it? No, he's by himself. Got his Polar with the shot. Balls on the line. Biz can put it in. Yes, he can. And it's the side of Pawns who wins this first match.
And what a close, eh? Do you think initially, Polar could have put it in there, but it goes off the corner. Surely that's it. But the whole of that DSQ Esports defense moves over to the right side of the net, leaves this gaping hole. And it ends up just being the Pawns which slotted in on the left.
A really good game of the Pawns. They lost their grip a little bit near the middle of the match, but at the beginning they started off really good and they ended off really good as well. Nice game by them. Not a lot of mistakes they made. Of course, we sometimes had the triple commits here and there, but that's just something you sometimes see at this level. Of course, you shouldn't do it, but it happens quite a lot more in Prospect League. But overall, I've seen some decision making on the side of Pawns and on the side of Livens as well, which is really, really good.
Sure, and maybe a stat I'll just draw people's attention to as well. I think what maybe edged the game for Council of Sir way was the physical play, actually. So not necessarily on the ball stuff, but keeping the DSQ Esports Livens players away from it. Triple the number of demos, a good portion of extra bumps in comparison. That's absolutely going to give you better plays on the ball.
If you don't have an opponent, you have one player more for yourself. You make them lose boost, you make them lose possession, you mess up their rotation. Demos are so important in this game. And a lot of people actually don't realize how much demos can affect people. Because some people also see it as toxic for some reason, I don't know why. But demos, I swear to you, is one of the best tactics you can use in these games. And one of the tactics that won't always work. Things like Flick have mostly... we have gotten used to. We can read flicks easily nowadays. But demos, you can never avoid a demo easily. And if you're demoed, you're just out of the game for 5 seconds. That's a massive benefit for your opponent.
The worst part is you can completely mess up a rotation with it as well. If they spawn in a particularly opportune place, you can end up with collateral damage, basically, as they crash into each other on the defensive line. In this case, though, Biz might be looking to run interruption by just playing the ball straight through the middle, not going to force it through, though. Polar, maybe with an opportunity, but Retsos beats him out. Biz now on the side, off corner, still rolling around, but beaten out by Kieran before he can get it through. Another early offensive period here from the Council of Sir, but it's not going to result in a goal before this 4 minutes 20 mark. What a close one.
That was really close. Vinny almost shot it into his own goal. Luckily enough, he got away with it. But Pawns start the same as they did last time. Resonate, can you put this in? A bump to save the ball out of the net. Busy. We're Biz to the backboard. Doesn't put it in. It's Polar with the shot. And it puts it in. It's 1-0 for the Pawns again. The pressure pays off.
Let's talk about this speed as well. Lovely touch from Biz. Great pass. Polar absolutely pacing it towards that ball. Kieran, kind of static. He couldn't have started from much further back without bumping into his teammate. So just can't get the pace and the movement. I mean, in that case, he didn't get a touch on the ball, but even if he got a 50, it wouldn't have been an ideal one. It would have put that DSQ Esports side in a very rough spot. Polar now going up, looking for a second. We may see an opening instead for the Livens. Kieran to the bottom right. It's total disarray for Councillor Sir Pawn's side, and we're all tied up again.
What? Risen! He just had all the opportunity to get to the ball, but then he decided, no, I'm gonna leave for a teammate. Then he realized there is no teammate, and the opponent picked it up and put in a goal. This is a goal that should have been scored, but it has been scored, and the Livens won't argue with that.
Sometimes, you can't always rely on what you hear. I'm sure in that case, he was like, oh, there's someone behind me in my own corner. Surely that's one of my teammates. No. That's one of the DSQ Esports teammates looking to get your final teammate. In the end, they end up just plugging the ball home anyway, and perhaps Retsos can do something here, tucking it down underneath, but Risen on the back line is going to bail them out on this occasion. Perhaps another opportunity though. Polar, weak clear. Retsos there to pick this one up. And Kieran, with that bump, might have opened up an opportunity for Finny to put this home, but it's gone wide. Kieran picking this up, feeding it back in. It's still in the mixer, but a solid clear from Biz gets this over to Polar.
Goes to the corner, they can maybe put it in front of the net. It is there, but it was a little bit too fast. Person, how far can you get? It's going to be Polar into the side. Was touches it again, so it doesn't end up being in the middle. Biz to the corner, Polar back into the middle. Sadly enough, there isn't a third guy for Pawns to challenge, which is also a good thing because you don't want to overcommit on those challenges.
Yeah, and honestly, it was looking a little rough for DSQ Esports there. That centre was looking really good. It's just they had that last movement back. They had boost in the tank, and they were able to get it out of their box and ensure that Council of Sir Pawns don't get another lead here. Finny, though, maybe looking to secure a lead for DSQ. What a flip, what a dribble in general, but it's blocked out by Risen at the 11th hour. Not going to see another goal just yet. It feels like it's been a decent period of time given how quickly we started this game number 2.
Quite some time indeed for when there has been the last goal, but it's gonna be soon. I'm feeling that both teams are good, looking very good on the offensive half. Kieran with a shot, easily saved by Biz. It's Finny back to the side, warm into the middle. Retros is right there. There's been a demo, but no use made of that.
I couldn't really work out which way the demo was. It disappeared before I was able to take a look at it. Definitely an open net opportunity if it was there, but I did see another defender kind of rocking up at the same time. So I think going straight for the net would have potentially not been the greatest play. And Council Sir are still on offense, still in this position where they really want to be. I mentioned maybe they'd prefer to be a bit more defensive, but clearly broken out of some old habits that they developed earlier in the regular season over the course of the last few weeks.
This to the sidewall. Polar up in the air. Can he get some nice good control on it? Sadly enough, he can't. It's Biz taking it over. Sadly enough, he can't get it on target as well. Kieran, a little bit awkward there with the ball. His teammate is there to pick it up. Polar with the demo. That's making some massive space for another offense. Kieran gets attempted to be demoed, but still luckily enough for Kieran, he misses.
That one trickling around again, though. It's not always the first one you've got to watch out for with these defensive plays. Sometimes it's the second one. They wear you down over time if you get the rotations right on offense. And Biz might be setting something up here, if not for Finney absolutely barreling through and getting some contact on that ball. And it may be the Council of Serpons, which get worn down here by some offensive rotations. Finney now over to the side. Kieran had an opportunity to pick that one up, but opts to leave it for Retsos. Long clear now. Kieran back up for himself, got some boost in the tank, maybe a touch, not a touch at all though. And it's Finney that's left to pick this one up. Council of Serpons not really being pushed to do an awful lot, and them conserving their boost is going to do them a lot of favours when they have to go on a counter-attack in the next sort of 15 seconds.
This puts it forward. Kieran is there to pick it up, high up to the side wall. The offense still going on, but it's Retros getting in between. Polar taking it over. Is it not gonna be a late 2-1 this time if they don't finish this off? Livin is still in the offensive half. Can they score a 0-second goal as well? It doesn't look like it. Pass drop it to the ground. And we got our first overtime of this series.
I think Biz definitely had an opportunity to go for a longer clear there, but that would have just handed the possession straight back to the Livens. That's not a position you want to put yourself in after a decent amount of time you've been on defense yourself. Polar hoping to cut this offense off early, but it's a low clear. Retsoff up to Finney, but no second touch, no center out from this GSQ Esports side, and we've seen it a pretty decent amount so far this game. The only goal that's gone in for them so far this game was that just total miscommunication with the Council of Serporn side. I don't see that happening again awfully soon.
And it's also really annoying. It's like, of course, for the Livens, they don't have the offensive power to really score a goal on their own. They really need the mistakes from the punts. But it's also hard on the punts because they are now in this overtime having to play longer and risking a defeat because there was one little mistake. That's definitely gonna get up into your mind. Let's hope for them they can get away from that thought.
Benny's awkward here. Polo going to win out this ball here. Nobody to follow up from his Council of Sir Signs. Biz not willing to throw this game away on a single offensive play. Maybe the wise decision. You know, you don't have many games to play with. It's not like the regular season where every game counts separately. Winning this best of 5 is all that matters, and that's exactly what DSQ Esports are gunning for here. Kieran firing this one into the top right-hand corner.
As we said, they need an error from their opponent to score a goal. And it's very unlucky, but it is still an error in the defense of the side of Pons. And the Livens take it for granted. And they get their first win of the series. It's 1-1 again. And it turned into a best of 3.
Yeah, and it has to be said, I think they looked a bit more dominant over the course of this series. I believe Biz put up something in the region of 6 shots last game. He got none. Totally shut out of the offensive plays this time around. And that's not to say he had a bad game on the whole. He got a good chunk of touches, tied in fact for most in that game across both teams, but nothing that was really threatening the goal. And you have to be threatening the goal if you're going to get those goals.
Yeah, something we have to see right now. South the Pons just playing with more ease in the defense. They can definitely win off these guys. Only they just stress out in the defense, and with miscommunication and everything that comes with stress, you just make mistakes. And Pons is a perfect example of this. They didn't have to concede these 2 goals. Of course, you can always say if someone was 50 more inches to the left, he would have saved it. But these were just really like errors, and it's hard to see losing a game on this, and surely on this level.
Yeah, and you know, these players, I expect they'll have a certain amount of resolve to them, and you kind of have to bring that ice to play-ins, right? You have one shot if you're these players to make it into playoffs. You don't want to throw your season away on the basis of one, you know, particularly bad game. If we're honest, from the Council of Serporns, there 2 goals that you definitely feel like should never have gone in. But equally, you know, you have to not let that get to you. You have to finish stuff off, and Biz holding down the fort. Getting this ball out, this double demo may prove problematic, but it's not going to be in the Council of Serporns for some time.
Maybe for Biz trying to clear it forward. Of course, a little bit of chaos going on in the defense already. Only after 10 seconds. Not looking good for the side of the Pawns. Vinny, good ball to the side. Can he read it? Can he put it on target? Sadly enough, he can't do that. It's Heat who just gets the clear before Retro. Serene takes it on. But still, Heat is there to take the ball off him.
There's now driving this one down. Finney to the top left. Who blocked it? Oh no, not again. Not another team save. Coming out from the side of DSQ. It had happened once in game 1. Surely it wasn't going to happen again. But a little too much pace on Kieran's car meant he ended up in that sweet spot for the shot.
Gonna be Risen, moving it forward. Just got away with a goal against you. Now's the right time to make one for yourself. That really messes up the opponent. But sadly enough, they just can't succeed at doing that. Restros putting it forward. Good shot. Sierra, can he get a shot on? Sadly enough, not. Restros putting it backwards once again, but not enough power on that.
Yeah, and that, to be fair, it did almost trickle in. It was a close one. It was a really, really lovely 50 to keep it out. But, 2v1, there were so many opportunities, and I think Council Sir, second time this game really where they've had a really threatening opportunity against them, and they haven't had anything great of their own thus far. They'll be looking to change that very soon because you don't want to get bogged down on defense. It's a little frustrating. It's quite demotivating. It's not the part of the pitch you want to be playing in. This may be exactly the opportunity they're looking for. Biz off the backboard, Polar to the left side. It's tipped up by Kieran. It might not have been on target anyway, but it's off to the side. And Council Sir, not just yet.
This was 2 massive chances for the side of Pawns, but they didn't put it in, so there's still chance for Livens to get this beginning lead of this match. They just need to keep that offensive power on. The shot from Biz. This is finally one of his shots again. We haven't seen him a lot in the last game. He's putting himself back in the picture this game, but sadly enough, it hasn't been contributed into the goal yet.
Perhaps in a few seconds we might see some, though, Council Sir getting into this offense, but it's blocked out, and it's a big block once again. DSQ have been really great at this throughout the series. And maybe we'll see another one here from Retsos. Going to pick this ball, play it long into the corner again. Council Sir having to use a little bit of boost to get to that ball. And the more cycles that DSQ can get through without losing a lot of possession, the better it's going to be for their offensive opportunities. Kieran now, sidewall, Biz, using nothing. I think that boost in the corner might have just spawned for him to get to it. But no, it spawned behind him. Surely there's nothing left on this Council Sir side. But Finney, he's not realised it. He's not willing to put that ball straight into the back of the net. Obviously, it was looking a little sketch as 2 teammates in front of him. You don't necessarily want to throw that many people forward at once. But perhaps an opportunity squandered.
It was a really good ball of this, putting it high up maybe for a redirect, but sadly enough it didn't end in something. Team bomb there, messing up the defense here, and if he's quick enough and can drop it into the middle, it could be a good opportunity. Sadly enough, he doesn't. It's just to the side. Polar is right there, looking for the demo, doesn't find it. That's a massive overcommit then. Vinny puts it to the middle. Serene is there with the shot, but Risnets with the clear.
Here now, taking this backwards. Retsos keeping this one in the air. This is rolling around nicely. Who's up? Finney's up. That's going right into the back of the net. The first lead, I think we've seen in regulation from this Livens side.
I think it is. Yeah, it is. They finally got their lead, and it's an important lead as well. Only 1 minute and 18 seconds left on that clock. And it's important to get that first goal in, because you can play a little bit different. Of course, it's never the right thing to play a little bit different, but you can play a little bit more defensive, making sure your opponent doesn't score. They've been doing good at that throughout this game, so they don't have to change a lot of it. They just got to keep the ball away from their enemies.
I don't think we're particularly interested, especially in the conscious ways they decide to play. It's what the subconscious does to them that I really want to pick out in these remaining 50 seconds. Are they going to be able to hang on to this lead? And it feels like they've been on defense a little more. As I say that, Finney gets the ball through, gets a demo, steals some boost, and all of a sudden DSQ are back on the front foot. But that might be short-lived. And they've got to be able to play from the front and play from behind if they're going to win not only this series, but the remaining series they've got to play if they want to make it to playoffs.
Finney with a shot. This could be the 2-1. A miss on defense. Make sure it is the 2-1. This is an important one. This might just be the game.
It was gentle. I'll give it that. The whole gameplay since that first goal has been gentle, but it's exactly what gets it over the line. Well, who can really complain about a goal, frankly?
It's a nice goal. It's a really nice goal, and it's an important goal. as well for the side of Livens. Almost surely making sure that this will be their second win in this series. Only needing one more after this, but it isn't over yet. There's still 15 seconds left, and if the side of Pons can get it into the goal right now, they can maybe still accomplish something, but already being in defense with 10 seconds left, it doesn't look really good for them. It is gonna be the side of Livens who will take their second victory of this series, move up to a 2-1 scoreline, and when with only one match more they need to win. Game 4 is what we're focused on.
Yeah, and that match point, knowing that, I mean, it's a dangerous thought, but it is also powerful. You know that you only need one game. You don't really need to get as tilted if this next game doesn't go your way from the bat, and you know that little mentality boost can make it a lot easier to get it over the line, if not in this game, then in the following one. And I just want to take a look at this. The number of shots that DSQ have put up yet again is massive. They got 9 compared to 5. That's basically double the Council Sur side. It doesn't always look it, but this side is quietly building a very strong offensive stance over the course of this series.
They are playing better on offense and better and better and better, and finally now they have gotten this match, and it's a really important one for them. They just need to be able to keep this momentum going into the next match, but the next match is game 4. There's already a team, of course, on a 2-1 scoreline, so this could be the final match of this game. It just needs to happen that Livens wins this, or can a Pons make a comeback?
Well, we've seen them take a game already. Strong start here could see them go a long, long way. Polar now winning out this kickoff, and it's a big win as well. Looking for a bump. Risen now. Oh, it's a little high. If that was on target, you got to say it probably would have been a goal off the bat to counter Sir. You know, exactly what I just mentioned they needed. Risen looking for a follow-up though. It's a light touch, gets it over Wrestles. Does he have a follow-up? Almost able to get that 50 with Kieran, but Kieran with a solid clear over to this right-hand side of the pitch is going to make his life and the DSQ side as a whole a lot easier.
Maybe Vinny, very awkward there. Sauce doesn't touch it. Serene takes it over. Goes on in offense. The ball gets left by his opponent, but sadly enough, he can't put it on target. Vinny, the ball to the side in the corner, trying to pinch it towards the middle. Sadly enough, it just doesn't get the right volume on it. His teammate does though, puts it in front of the net. With an easy clear for Biz.
Up now from Finney, off the backboard, but no follow-up really. Kieran just tapping this one away to the side, making sure Council Serve Pawns aren't able to control this ball as it comes into the white half of the pitch. Biz, though, might have just performed the best interception of the series so far. Catches that ball, bounces off a corner to set himself up brilliantly. And that's all he needed to do to open up the scoring there. No one left from that DSQ side. Kieran, I'm sure, was dying to reach that ball, but both his teammates were completely gone towards the end there.
That's really unlucky. Vinny, I don't know what he did. He just drove off, I thought. Might have been bumped or just an awkward landing. But he was out of defense pretty soon as well. That's a shame. That's not a goal you want to get against yourself. You've been playing so good in the last game. And they get 1-0 behind. That definitely gets in line with how you play.
And so Sir, though, facing a few difficulties here. Kieran has put that into the sweet spot for Finney, but there's no follow-up just yet. Rexels now from further back. Biz might just put this on himself. He's not going to quite, but Kieran's there for the follow-up. And this game's been tied up. Council Sir looking very, very shaky now. They would have wanted to withhold that lead for a lot longer.
Biz couldn't get up in time. Serene saw the situation and made use of it instantly. It's an awkward goal, but it is a goal that definitely counts through the side of Livens. And when they were 1-0 behind, they put it back, and this is a massive chance as well. But the side of Pons just messed it up.
Oh, it's a painful sight to watch, isn't it? You know, these big opportunities going to the side, and you know, it's down to the pressure really. They're not playing for the win of the overall championship, but imagine what an upset this would be if Council Sir could get this over the line. You know, 7th in their conference, going up against 5th in the other one, trying to do Glaciers as proud as they can. But ultimately, if they fall here, that's going to be it for their season. Polar looking to keep it going now, looking to continue this sequence of play as well, perhaps looking for that bump on Finney. That one's going to be passed away though. Kieran now up himself, flip reset maybe, going to use it to recover as Biz won out that 50 very heavily.
We Vinny, ball to the backboard. Zero with a really important touch, putting the ball in the offensive half instantly. Serene, good touch, can pass it into the middle. No teammates there yet. Serene will pass it to them though. Biz takes advantage of that, but doesn't put it on target. Serene, ball to the side, ball into the middle. Serene is there, can't get the shot on. Serene once again with a good touch. He's been clearing the ball all this time. The side of Pons is under a lot of pressure, but they keep getting away with it.
It makes you wonder how much longer this DSQ side is going to be able to not really commit that last person in order to get some of these goals. Eventually, Council of Sir are going to get a goal if you're not willing to put everything on the line here.
No.
Maybe, that one doesn't quite trickle in, but it's definitely looking very scary from everyone's perspective. Council of Sir counting their lucky stars and getting a little caught up on themselves here. The panic beginning to creep in with 100 seconds left in game number 4. Vinny now, long clear, over into the corner, picked up by Risen though, and he's going to continue trying to play this one through. Scooped out to the corner, it's a combined clearance in order to get this one out of the yellow half here.
The side of Pons once again in offense, a big miss there on defense, you can make use of it, but sadly enough, Serene couldn't get his car turned around quite soon enough. He puts it towards his enemy. It's going to be Vinny with a solo play. Can he make it in? Sadly not. It's going to be Polar to the backboard. Can he get this double touch? Sadly enough, he doesn't have enough boost. Biz tries to it as well. I can't get it on target. It's going to be Vinny putting some power on that ball. Sadly enough, that doesn't go in as well.
Honestly, I think the way I'd want to play that... Oh, hang on, we might be seeing a goal, actually. I'll come back to that point later. Risen, able to clear this one over to the side. It's an open ball, and I'm not sure how much boost is left on DSQ. Polar pitching this one over the top. Kieran can't get a touch. Biz able to tap this one. That ball stunned in the white box, but no one from Council of Sir following that up straight away.
And Red Souls to the backboard. Doesn't do much more with it. It's Polar with the easy clear. Vinny putting it to the backboard once again. Ball ends up in the middle. Red Sauce takes it over. One teammate is in the middle. It's Zero. Can he make use of it? The ball goes in front of the goal line, but he can't tap it in.
Maybe we'll see a tapping in not very long. Kieran now up on the backboard, trying to follow this up. A pinch attempt off the ceiling. Gets the ball to Vinny regardless. And now Council of Sir looking very awkward. Risen used a lot of boost to do not an awful lot. Here, Kieran now, it's off the post again, the fourth man coming through once again. We've seen it so often, and Red Sauce is going to deflect this one to the side. That one was bouncing down menacingly if it got to the backboard, but that touch has just saved them the threat of game 5, if you do say so. Risen though, a bit high. Follow up from Biz, over to the side. It's good offense early from Council Sir here, overtime. Not really been their domain so far, but we've seen them perform in clutch situations like in game number 1.
It's going to be an interesting. The side of Pons have everything on the line. The Livens still have one game behind the hand. They can lose before they are dropped to the lower bracket. It's good to see that. It's going to be the side of Biz putting it forward. Gets an awkward touch there. It's going to be Retros putting it up. Vinny now trying to get in the offensive half, but it just can't because of the pressure of the Pons.
And they're maintaining it really well. This is back to where they were at the start of game number 1. I don't know, what they've said to each other to get them, back to that point. But, 50 seconds in, I'm struggling to think for time DSQ really had offense. And Risen might finish the job off. Double tap, bottom corner, job done. Game number 5, here we go.
And it is indeed the side of Pons. We are going to go to that game 5. It's a beautiful goal for Risen putting it in like this. And I just said you will go to the low bracket if you lose this. But mid-sentence I realized that's not true. You're kicked out of the play-ins if you lose this match. So it's both, for both teams. It's a game 5. Matches have been going both ways, but there's only one team who can finish off as the winner.
And now I get to come back to this point while it's still relevant, while pawns are still in this. We saw Polar, 12 boost, driving towards that Livens net. Didn't have much boost to his name, but definitely could have threatened a double tap. You just say to your teammates, I don't have the boost, I'm going to double jump for this, hopefully I'll bait in a player, you play off the back of that, and that sort of proactive play, I think, could be what makes the difference for these prospect sides. A heads-up play could really put them in the lead, and that's exactly the kind of leadership we'd need to see from one of these captains, I think, in game number 5.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult match for both teams. A lot of pressure on this one match, just because like I said, They're gonna be out if you lose this match. It's only one game. You'll have 5 minutes, including an overtime as well if they need it, to decide who is gonna go on and who is gonna stay in these play-ins. It's 5 minutes, and it's gonna be one of these two.
Remember, loser here isn't going to be getting another opportunity this season. That's it. Everything on the line. I don't want to see any holding back from either of these two teams as this clock begins to tick down. Ola flicking this one towards the goal early. A little rushed shot. Don't want to see them committing that hard. We want to see good, clean plays, well thought out. That proactivity I mentioned in the gap between the two. And maybe we're about to see something here. Polar threatening early. It's a good 50. A tap up to Biz maybe, but cleared out by Retsos, and it's gone a long way.
Serene taking it to the wall. Serene is really quick to that challenge. Serene has to clear it, and so he does. Good interception from Vinny. Sadly enough, he can't put it on target. This is a great pass to Biz, and Biz, he puts it into the corner. And this is a really nice way to start off that final game.
And that comes off of him initially not getting a massive touch, but he realizes I don't have to rotate all the way back into defense here. There's an opportunity for Polar to get a pass out to me. Calls to Polar, hey, I'm upfield. Polar hits that ball as hard as he can up the field, and it's such a deft touch. Kieran would have got there anywhere else on the net, but that placement was absolutely fantastic.
A little double commit there from the side of Bonds, but they get away with it. Luckily enough, Serene, ball forward, risen ahead, awkward touch. This is awkward because Biz is in a good position, but Serene misses the ball. He expected Biz to touch it, but he didn't. Now it's Biz. He does touch this one, and he puts his second one in the goal.
And what an opening it is for Council of Sir Pawns here. They've taken that goal they got in overtime and really made the most of the momentum. They've been able to build it off the back of that. DSQ now, it's game 5. They really can't let their heads drop. This is the last time they might play together as a team ever.
The last
4 minutes to do it.
Last 4 minutes they might play together, but it might still be the last 4 minutes the side of the Pawns play together. Of course they have a 2 lead, but as we said, 4 minutes is left on the clock. That's a lot of the game still left for them to do something. And with overcommits like this, you can do something. Sure, put it in. They didn't.
I think Kieran meant to go for a side roll to put it in there, but might have been called off by a teammate. I know there was a lot of pressure coming from the Council of Sir Pawns defense, but I'm a little shocked it didn't go in anyway with the amount of presence there. That demo really, I think, obscured everyone's view of what was happening in Council of Sir. I think maybe off the back of that, we're about to win that sequence of play, but it was tipped off to the side once again. Polar with a miss, sets up Kieran, but that one's also gone wide. The shooting accuracy really been plaguing DSQ all series here.
They have a lot of chances, but they don't make a lot of it, and that's harmful in a game where you're 2-0 behind game 5. And if you lose this game, you're out. You don't want to miss those easy shots, but they are doing it right now. And the side of Pawns isn't doing that. Have been really good on offense this match.
Only are we about to see? No, we're not. That's Kieran looking to make a solo play, but no backup from the teammates means that Council of Sir Pawns are going to be straight back on the offense here. Biz with another top Retsos. That's not the clear he was looking for. Risen into the middle now, but no follow-up. I think we're about to see at the other end. Absolute end-to-end gameplay as both teams are looking to either extend their advantage or try and bring this back as quickly as possible. In either case, it's not worked out especially well for them.
Well, that's a really good demo. It's opened up. Retsos with the shot. It doesn't go in. Second one doesn't go in as well. You have to make these kind of opportunities if you want to go on in the play-ins. And as long as you don't make them, it's going to be the side of Pawns who will take the victory.
And there's even less time to do it now. When they had this lead initially, it was 4 minutes on the clock. We're rapidly approaching just 2. And as this clock ticks down, not only is it physically harder, but mentally you kind of realize, oh, that goal is really going to put a dampener on the mood in the DSQ camp. I was just saying, not getting a goal for so long despite the opportunities is going to put, a real downer on your emotional chances and also your actual chances of getting those goals in the first place. And now that third one's gone in, it feels so much harder. It's practically a mountain to climb if you consider it that way. Finney at least looking to make something of us. Biz with a backflip. It's weak. Sets up Kieran nicely, and he's going to make a solo play again. A reset maybe. A Tulhu up touch would have been so good for them, but it's another long clear, and that's going to buy them another chunk of time. I thought Retsos might have put it into his own net this game just there. Wouldn't have been the first time it looked close, but it's not gone in the back of the net. And with 90 seconds left on the clock, there is still an opportunity for DSQ to make something of this game 5.
There's an opportunity, but it's going to be difficult. It's again Biz, once again, on the offense. Of course, has already scored his hat-trick in this last game, being of absolute value. Ooh, his teammates not fading under the pressure. It looks like the side of Livens is fading under the pressure. This ball is right in front of the goal, but it still doesn't get scored.
Honestly, considering all these games, I would be so shocked if Biz didn't get MVP, even if DSQ were somehow miraculously to bring this one back. He's been putting up so many big numbers for this side, despite Risen normally being the one to get the goals for the Pawns.
Vinny, taking control, trying to get it into the middle. Oh, doesn't end up having a good touch. Serene, free shot, takes it slow, goes for the 50, but can't get through 2 people. Retsos up on the wall. Serene is in the middle, but doesn't have his flip anymore. Tries to go for the bump. Gets a little touch on his opponents, but not enough to make them move out of the way.
And it's 30 seconds now. We need a goal right here from this DSQ side. There's no follow-up. They're running for the hills, but there are no hills to run for. It's a very flat pitch, and it's going to be a very long walk home, I think. 16 seconds left now, and it's really fair to say, especially with Biz putting shots on like that Council Sir Pawns will be facing off against the Green Phoenix side in the following round of the play-ins.
It's all splitting it up once again. Biz with a miss, but it doesn't matter anymore. It's the side of the Pawns who take the victory in the last 2 matches. They made sure to play their best game. And this man up front, it's going to be Biz, who takes his team with 3 goals in this game. Really good game from him. Take his team to the next round.
Really just a huge number of shots from Biz himself there. I've mentioned before in game number 2, he was shut out back up to 6 shots this game. That's, one every 50 seconds or so, a monumental number really to be putting up in a game this short.
He has played magnificent, but all the other players did their fair share as well. And of course, still, Livens have lost here in this game, but they put up the best fight they could have done. I've seen some really good Rocket League, and surely for the side, for the Prospect League. And as you see right now, it's gonna be Biz who is gonna be the MVP of this series, and you already called it out.
Yeah, I mean, it was clear from that last game, the 3 goals, 6 shots, an absolutely massive performance to close out this series, and a very consistent performance with the exception of game 2 of this series as well. Let's just see if he can keep it up in the following one, I think. And, speaking of that following series, I'm not going to be having you for it. This is the part where we say bye-bye.
It is, sadly enough. I will be back later on the night, if I'm right. Let's see. At the beginning of the evening, I was a little bit late, maybe, because I looked at the schedule of Thursday, and it's not Thursday today, so some things went wrong in my head. But I'm gonna be back later. I will be leaving you, sadly enough, for this one, and I will be leaving you to a little in-between screen between the matches. Get yourself a drink, get ready for the next series.
They say history is written by the victor, so I don't mind playing the villain. Got a pretty girl to the throne. 'Cause the memories come and I can't even run. I gotta win this just to prove to me I can. I'll divide and I will conquer. I will battle like a warrior. If I'm dying, couldn't afford. I know you like feeling haunted. Would a pretty girl leave you bored? 'Cause the memories go, and I can't even run. I gotta win this just to prove to me I can. I'll divide and I will conquer. I will battle like a warrior. If I'm dying, getting stronger. I'll divide and I will conquer. I'll divide and I will conquer. I will battle like a warrior. If I'm dying, getting stronger. I'll divide and I will conquer.
I'm alone, I'm a broken home. I gave you all the bricks that I own and know. I'm letting go, I'm breaking these walls down, breaking these walls down. If you want adventure, then fly to home. But if you wanna travel, then go alone. Yeah, what's the point in us if I never know? Yeah, if you're gonna leave, I'ma let you go. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired with yesterday. Harder, harder. I fell where my demons dwell. My own little nightmare, I call it hell. Oh well, it's time to get back up. Climbing and climbing, I'm done with this ride, is what I tell myself, so I could feel something else. Yeah, I guess I had my bad days, but it doesn't mean I lost my style. Darling, where were you when my heart was on the ground? I thought time would prove that you would stick around. I guess time stood still, a king without his crown. Now I'm breaking and you're faking, girl. You never made a sound. Oh, wait, I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired with yesterday. Harder, harder.
legs feels heavy on your chest. I wish I could carry the weight all on my back. Colors now faded. There's only so much holding that I can't do, but I'd rather lose than lose you. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to be you again. Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do to put your heart. I'm the storm that meets the moon. I'm the sun that will not move. Who you think you are? Who you think you
Welcome back, everyone, to this RSC stream. We're still showing the prospect play-ins, and we've still got the Council of Sir Pawns joining us in this game number 2. But I've got a new caster alongside me and some new opposition. Tavish, introduce yourself.
Well, introduce myself, that's kind of a big word. I think most people have seen my face around here. But like you said, I'm joining you here for the next series in the Prospect Plains. It's going to be Green Phoenix Newborn taking on Council of Sir Pawns. And obviously, just on stream, we saw Pawns take that game number 5 against DSQ's Livens. And now we're going to see if they can bring it back again.
What a big game 5 it was. Were you impressed with that performance?
With Pawn's performance, yes. With Liven's performance, no, because I kind of wanted my team to win there. But Pawns, I must give it to them. They played out of their minds, and obviously, I know Kingsman has been coaching them in the background as well, which had a big influence. And as we see here on the bracket on stream, the 3-2 win there. Now they're facing off against Newborn. Will they take another win, or will Newborn be too strong? It comes down to this series. And you know, let's just talk a little bit about the teams, because obviously we've seen Council of Sir Pawns already, but Newborn is the first time here in the play-ins.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to draw attention to the Kasserek, actually. Kasserek Kaka, another player who's been putting up lots of goals per game. 39 played, 38 goals. Very comparable to what I was saying before about Risen. And putting these in the back of the net is what gets you these wins, and it's how Newborn got 4th over in that Glaciers conference. A great job from them. Clearly, over the course of the season, did a lot better than Pawns, but these two sides have played recently. That was 2-2. This has the potential to go the full distance once again in the best of 5, I think.
Yeah, they definitely have that potential, and like you said, Kaka having those only 39 play, but all 38 goals, so he's at least scoring almost every game. But then you also have Gav and Fanny around him, and both of them at least scoring 50 goals. Also a lot of saves. Well, definitely Fanny doing a lot of savior work. So you kind of expect that there will be a good all-around chemistry in that Newborn side. And then Pawns, well, we can talk about them, but everyone's just seen them on stream. Do we know what they can do? We know how good they truly are. And if you would, we already saw the team statistics on the screen just now. But in general, Pawns taking more losses than wins. Obviously, they were the 7th seed, so one team had DQ, so they got their opportunity here, and they're making full use of it. But on goals scored and goals conceded, Pawns is more likely to concede a lot of goals, where the Newborn side will most likely score a lot more. So I think we might see a lot of aggression from that Green Phoenix side, and maybe Pawns will have to do a lot of defensive work. But it's just it's going to be a big series here, because obviously winner continues here in the bracket.
I mean, I think we can talk all we like, really, about how we're going to play. Council Sir really surprised me with her offensive positioning in the last series. We just have to see if they're able to put that up against arguably the tougher opposition. We've sent the players in. I think we're ready for lights out.
Yeah, it is going to be, and Well, we actually didn't mention one thing. What do you think is gonna happen here in this series?
Oh, over the course of it, well, I'm on the Pawns hype train now. I've just seen them take the last one. I think they're going to take it 3-2. What about yourself, Tavish? How do you think they're going to do?
Well, my prediction is kind of already out there since I did it on our RSCast last Monday. But I'm also thinking Game 5, but I am sticking to the newborn side here. I think in general they're just the stronger roster, but I do think this is gonna go all the way, the full distance, and then in a golden goal scenario, it will be decided. But first 30 seconds coming on so far, no team really putting the big opening here. Both teams just kind of testing each other on how they're gonna play. And obviously we have green Phoenix, newborn in the green, Council of Stiff Pawns in the golden color. So let's see who's gonna take the lead here.
I mean, it looked like the beginnings of a strong opening opportunity for Council Sir there, but Biz didn't want to invest a lot of boost into that 50, and so just let this Green Phoenix side have that 50, and that's another 50 not going their way. Benny now with an opportunity on goal. Polar with a great flip on the backboard, not an awful lot of boost to his name, able to get one out of the way.
And Bliss, beautiful touch into the corner. Wants to keep get infield pass. Doesn't have boost to work with, but at least gets the pass. Quick shot from Ryzen doesn't find the back of the net. Polar whatsoever is already waiting for an infield pass. Wins the 50 against 1, but Kakadou denies it. Denies the second shot as well. Polar waiting for a touch. Puts it towards net, but Vanny there to deny.
Listen now, first, I think if we're being honest, really dangerous attack for Council Sir. That one going in if it wasn't blocked away by the defense there. Kasarek though, around the side, picking this one up. It's a second touch. It's high in the air. Benny up for it. A touch to the backboard leaves an opportunity, I think, for Gav to come in, but not going to dive at that one. Sensible play, but not very sensible defense as Biz is going to be left to the opening net and puts in the opening goal of this series.
This is heartbreaking. Kaka not having the best touch on the wall. Gav not reading it to its full potential and just think like, I can touch this. Realizing the jump was not that good. And then it's an open goal for Biz to take the lead here for that Pawns roster. And so far, 2 minutes come and gone. First goal happened. Now let's see if there's gonna be an answer. Yes, it will! Gav taking it around the entire defense, caught it on his own car. And then for Kaka is just, I'll do the little tip in, do the final piece. And it's already a tie game.
It wasn't the most ideal positioning, I think, the Council Sir Pawns side, where one player coming out of the top of the net, you've massively compromised your ability to make an easy save that way. It was high up in the net, so it was a good chance of getting it, but not placing the car in the right place to get in front of it. And another player having to make a dive from the near post, actually chasing that ball as opposed to allowing it to come to them. Risen now wins a 50 against Kaka, an opportunity for Council Sir to build some offense, but Biz, a slight upset, is going to put them on the back foot once again. Risen, though, able to get this out to Biz and this ball back out along the rails of this pitch.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we're going to see a lot are those random touches going not the way that the player are hoping. That they touched it one way, or they hope they touched it one way on the wall, and then it just kind of goes, it backfires and goes the other way, or they just don't hit it hard enough. Because obviously it's still prospects, anything can happen here. We can have major upsides, we can have mechanical players, we can have a lot of whiffs, or maybe even an own goal. We saw it yesterday as well. So keep your eyes open for anything, because that's also the fun of playing. A lot of these players never played on stream, so also the nerves a little bit settling in sometimes. But Gav not feeling any of it. Takes it into the air, flips it to work, doesn't take it to full potential, but keeps it in the pawn side.
Perhaps on that basis, maybe you'd say Council Sir Pawns with a slight mental advantage going into this first game?
Yeah, I would say so, obviously, because they have played those 5 games already, so they know how it is to play in front of an audience and how to play with a lot of pressure on your back. Because game 5 is a lot of pressure if it's a do or die scenario.
Well, let's see if they can convert it into a game number 1 win here. 80 seconds on the clock. Polar, perhaps it's over 1, but it's cleared out to the side by Venny. Risen, playing this one in the corner now. Attack down. Biz is there. Bottom corner. Ooh. Would have been ideal, but it's blocked out of the way by Venny. Stellar positioning there from the Green Phoenix defense.
Yeah, and a beautiful attempt for a team play there on the pawn side. Infield pass, shot on target, but sadly 3 defenders for Newborn were there to deny the opportunity, but still so close to take the lead here in the final couple seconds. Kaka almost a shot on target, Biz denies. Benny has to wait on the wall, doesn't find any contact. Ryzen can take it all the way into the other side. Gets denied by a newborn player. And now it's just control in the middle of the field. Who can get the best touch? Who can throw most players forward without overcommitting? That will decide the end of game number 1.
I mean, if you're going to base it off that, like Council of Sir Pawns aren't getting very far forward and are overcommitting, 2 people going up for what should have been a very bread and butter clear. Risen, though, is going to try and make the most of these last 15 seconds. Biz, with a mystery flip, is still going to be able to get back to that ball, but not the best starting point. Risen, with a centre, blocked out by Gav. Taps up once again in these dying seconds, surely to the Council of Sir with the advantage, but it's just going to hit the floor. Overtime we go. We've seen some good goals from Council of Sir in these overtimes. We need to see another one here if we're going to take this game. Back at my prediction, Green Phoenix, though, of course, I'm sure going to be doing their best to make sure it doesn't go that way.
Yeah, and obviously overtime is just a quick reset. You get another kickoff, you get another timer that's on 0, that you can just take your time. You don't have to rush anything. You don't have to count the time counting down. You have it counting up, so take all the time you need. But obviously, the longer an overtime continues, the more and more pressure builds, because then every small mistake can be dearly. And here, Polar takes it past 1, tries to get it past second 1, doesn't flip a little bit too early, so no real pressure. Double commit here from Ryzen and Biz. Biz still on the follow-up, gets it over one of the newborn defenders, but Venny there clearing it into the middle. Gav to follow up, not the best of touches. And Kaka there, taking it into the opponent's corner. Ryzen tried to follow up, but not ideal. And now you have an open net. Kaka with the shot. No, it will be saved in the end.
That ball was trickling out towards the Green Phoenix goal. There was a massive clear as well. So end-to-end stuff here in game number 1. Both these teams, I think, could really close this out with a quick bit of offense. And that's exactly what we've seen with Council Sir Pawns. They're really picking up the pace at a time when Green Phoenix looked a little lost.
It started all with that touch in the middle of the field from Venny. Touch it straight to the wall where it bounced back infield. Then Kaka in defense, not the best position to take a touch. And you're basically just giving the ball straight to the opposition. And then the only thing you have to do is just touch it once and you're conceding a goal. So Pawns, beautiful pressure there in the final seconds of this game. And for Newborn, a mistake that they will forget rather sooner than later.
Considering the number of opportunities that the Council Sir Pawns had in that game, though, I mean, in some ways you could be shocked that they didn't close out sooner, but equally impressive that Newborn have held their resolve so hard despite being put onto those defensive situations so often this game against a side which is well warmed up and has gotten used to playing on stream already this evening.
Yeah, and if you like you said, they have Pawns had 10 shots in total, used 2 of them to the full advantage. That they got the goal. And if you look at Newborn, 6 saves. So, add 2 of them that they conceded, and then only 2 shots that were, well, not really that useful on the Pawns side. So on shooting accuracy, Pawns really showing how good they are. But Newborn on the other hand also showing how good they are at being a saving team. So game number 2, what do you think is going to happen here, Frost? Do you think it's going to be the same, that we have a close game all around and it will go to an overtime, or will one of the 2 teams step up?
Well, I mentioned Pawns should have had that mental advantage being used to being on stream in game 1. I expect that's going to diminish over the course of this series, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Green Phoenix. Oh no!
No.
Do I make the point anyway, Tavish? Because it's been completely. I was going to say, Green Phoenix, they've warmed into this series. They're getting more used to the experience of playing on stream. Surely we'll see them pick it up a little in this game number 2, and I think maybe they should go on and take it. But not if they're going to make early misses like that. Sure, the kickoffs can be sketchy, but they're routine. You should have practiced those, and indeed you get the most practice of them because you get them at least like 2 or 3 times per game. So they're definitely not the best look in the opener, but we do have the most amount of time to try and get that goal back now.
True. Definitely, like I said, they have a lot of time to make it good. And so close, but beautiful save from Biz. Rising close on the other side. But, one thing that I learned yesterday, because I casted the series between Alter and Terra in the upper bracket of play-ins, there were a lot of very early goals where it was within 5, 7 or 9 seconds that the opening goal scored, and still it went to a 1 goal different or even an overtime. So anything can happen here. Obviously play-ins, so everything is to play for, and it's prospects, so anything can happen since there are a lot of, well, you kind of expect a lot of mistakes here. So not to worry, we might even see a newborn win here in game number 2, and that's a whiff from one of the Pawns players. Ryzen can follow up, and it's still Pawns having all the pressure at the start.
Getting a good chunk more pressure here. That's a big clear now to get it out. You know, that ball being in the box can't be the most comfortable position for Green Phoenix to be in after having already conceded a goal. And the back there again, Risen with a long carry. Polar follow-up touch is going to maybe play this to himself. And all of a sudden, we have this stale play again. The ball could just be, you know, stalled out here for as long as Councillor Sir like if they play it well enough. This one maybe going to spill out a little though. Green Phoenix with Risen's bad touch there should be looking for a clear, but again, I think it's the boost actually. They're just having a really hard time breaking out of their own box right now because they're being under so much pressure for so long.
Yeah, and here, first real touch from Venny into the middle. Gav, quick shot on target. It will be safe, but at least it gives Newborn a little bit of breathing room. We have a massive clip from Ryzen. One bump from Polar. Gav just recovered to get that save, but Ryzen immediately follow up this on, and now a big overcommit will cost them dearly. An overcommit from Pawns. Venny just beats the final player, clears it really good, just inside of the post. Half the game to go, and it's a tie game.
I'm not even that concerned with the idea there. Like, Biz, I think, was, well, I mean, he wasn't the best position to do it necessarily, but there was no one else that was going to do it to follow up that ball. And Polar seemed to be heading back, but just wasn't heading towards that boost and maybe changed his mind that little bit too late. And of course, those fractions of a second add up, and that could be those fractions of a second which allow Councillor Sir Pawns to get this lead back. Risen, though, off the backboard, and Green Phoenix going to get away with this one. But another opportunity, I'm sure, on its way very shortly.
Yeah, and so far, Pawns having full control. Ryzen doing it here as well. Polar gets one touch and gets a bump on the defender, if I saw correctly. And then it's, oh, not even a bump, he just has a disruption factor there. That he's just driving in front of the net, so you have to dodge him one way or another. You can bump him out or you can jump in front of him. And Ryzen used to his advantage, one touch across the defense, and they take the lead. 2 minutes left on the clock. Pawns in the lead yet again. And now it's again looking at Newborn. Can they bounce back? Because so far, every goal that they got in this series has been from an overcommit or a mistake on the Pawn side.
And it was something we were talking about in the break as well, right? This Councillor Sir Pawn side, very solid on the whole in the last few games of the regular season. Very solid in that game before, and most of the goals they conceded were from mistakes like that. Everyone getting caught on the near post after Polar's touch here.
Yeah, Polar not having the best touch, and then obviously, like you said, his teammates were basically underneath him. And then Kaka, the only thing he has to do is get one touch towards net, put it on the far post, and you're there. And now, 95 seconds left. Tie game yet again. We're in a scenario that we might see another overtime happening. And to be honest, it would not surprise me the way these two teams have been playing. A lot of shots, a lot of saves, a lot of pressure from the Pawn side. But slowly, the side of Newborn is gaining more momentum in their favor. They're getting better clears, they're getting better follow-ups. They're challenging earlier in the middle of the field to get at least a strong 50 so they don't get the ball back on their own side. But it's just not enough to really be the dominant factor out of the two here. But I truly think a win here for Newborn can make that happen, and our shot will be saved by Kaka.
There'll be another follow-up coming through though, Kaka. It's another good touch. Council step up. Oh no, I was about to compliment Green Phoenix so much for getting that solid clip of being put right onto the back foot again. It was almost a goal. They've been spared that misery at the very least. Benny now with a follow-up. Green Phoenix pick themselves back up here despite that attack back. Biz trying to force that through. Gav cutting him off though, and he's got it all the way into the middle. Kaka, if he'd been a little closer, could have sealed this one. Well, as good as sealed it for Green Phoenix. Not much time on the clock. It's fair to say it's silver goal territory.
not making contact. Luckily, his teammate did. Gav doesn't have boost to work with, but does get it past one. Polo now try to clear it into the other side. Kaka, final player, gets speed. Fenny there, luckily, to save his teammate and get Newborn into that overtime scenario. Gav closes it into the wall. Ball still up into the air. No, it will be left, and it came to, again, overtime.
I mean, it would have been a bold play for Risen to try and make anything of that ball. He's been left the ball by Polar now, bounce it off the sidewall to Biz, long shot, but it's right, low and wide, and Benny gets a nice easy clear and a follow-up touch towards his counter net. Gav with the follow-up, but it's been scuffed a little, not got the power through that ball.
No.
It's gone over everyone. That's going to be game 2 and match point for the Council of Sir here. Such a good opportunity for Green Phoenix, but Kaka unable to get up to this ball and nobody left back to cover it.
Yeah, and here you see a common mistake on the side, or not on the side of Newborn, but just in general in Prospect. And if we take a quick look at the chat, it's gonna be a timeout for Newborn, so they're gonna take an extra minute, if I'm correct, to talk about their game plan for the next 2 minutes. Sorry, I'm used to RLCS for some reason. It's 1 minute, but here we're 2 minutes. They have 3 minutes in total to talk about their game plan. Loads of time to just sit, relax, take a deep breath, get a drink. And now I'm gonna ask you, Frost, what do you think is Newborn gonna talk about in this overtime? Not overtime, in this timeout that they asked.
Honestly, it's just like tidying stuff up. There's really not an awful lot I can say because they've not been playing badly. I think purely on paper, they could have very easily won both this first and second game, but it's just some very silly mistakes. You know, if that kickoff goal doesn't go in at the very start, we never see that overtime. If the ball doesn't go clean over Kaka's head following that very, very weak touch from Gav, we don't see Council Sir Pawns win that game at all, and we're at a tied series going into game number 3, a situation I think the Pawns would prefer not to be in, frankly.
Yeah, for Newborn, it's do or die right now. You lost 2 games both in overtime, and like you said, they're not making that many mistakes in general. They're just a really good roster. They're going for almost everything, but it's just the tiny mistakes. And obviously, game 2 overtime, they lost by missing just a little piece of booster. They get that touch, and then it flies over. Fenny was a little bit caught too far forward. But it's so difficult to give full, good advice for Newborn on, you should do this and then you might win. Because no matter what they're going to do, Pawns is playing just a little bit better.
It's like that copy pasta, right? It's like Newborn are a good team, but they need to work on their rotations, they need to work on their shooting accuracy, they need to work on the boost conservation, I suppose, not necessarily consumption. You don't want to increase that too much, you just end up starving yourself out. If there's an area where I'd like to see most, because I think we saw it on that first kickoff to an extent, they rushed the play a fair amount. So maybe just taking that time, not going up for the ball too early, and that allows them to conserve the boost a little more. It allows them to make more plays. It allows them to make more saves if they're on a defensive standpoint.
Yeah, and I think we can talk about this the entire time on what could have happened, what can happen. But one thing that we should keep in mind is it is Prospect. And Prospect is, over the seasons, well known as the tier 1. You're gonna see sometimes the kind of silly mistakes where it's something happening that shouldn't have happened, but sadly it just happens like that. So that's Prospect. Let's see if Newborn can just play just that little bit better. Maybe the timeout worked. Timeout's over. Game 3 on the way. Do or die for Newborn, and for Pawns, it is that final game that they need, and then they are through to Championship Saturday.
We're off to a strong start here as well. This ball bouncing out for Polar, who could have beaten out Benny, I think, with a little more boost had been used. Biz, though, is going to handle this one on the defense. Can only get it as far as Gav, who's trying to send this back in. A solid flick, but no follow-up from the Green Phoenix side means we stay goalless early in this game.
At least they don't concede an early goal. And Green Phoenix, they would love to get that early goal, but at least they're not conceding it, and that's already a huge start here. Taking a little bit more control. They're not overcommitting. Fenny, not the best of touches there. And Biz tried to get it past one, but luckily Kaka there wins the 50. Fenny, beautiful clear all the way into the other side. It might go in. A whiff on the goal line is gonna help. Kaka gets it pressed. Everyone, lots of whiffs on the pawn side, but at least Newborn score first.
Yeah, Risen definitely not in an ideal spot. He can get to that ball, sure, but with a lot of the easy touches he could have taken, he's going to put it into his own net, so he has to take it very carefully. He needs a very deft touch on that ball and ends up not making any contact at all, which arguably is better, but none of his teammates were there to cover him, so it ends up being a goal anyway. And it could very quickly be a 2-0 lead for Green Phoenix if the Council Serb Pawns aren't careful. Venny now lobbing this one over top. A demo Risen under pressure to beat out Gav, and he delivers.
Yeah, and that demo was huge because it just gave a little bit of time for the Newborn players to keep the rotation going. A Venny infield pass, beautiful control. Gav realized, okay, that ball is going to the far post. I have to be there. And it worked marvelously. 2-0 lead now for Newborn.
And it really feels like off the back of that timeout, they've got the gist. They've worked it out. You know, this is the most dominant lead we've seen so far in the series, I think. And now they're just putting up goal after goal, and Council Serb Pawns really haven't had much of a luck in at all this game.
Yeah, but they're not out of it yet. 3:30 left on the clock. More than enough time for Pawns to get back into this. Polar gets it past two defenders. Try to get the infield pass. Kaka there doesn't make contact with the ball. Luckily for him, otherwise it would have been an own goal. Kaka now gets beat. Venny gets beat as well. Biz puts it in the top corner, and the lead is cut in half.
Credit to the pass as well. That's a fantastic placement from Risen. Gets it right into the golden zone above the net. You can play it with so much pace towards the net. And even after, he hit it with his wheels, the front of the car, the part where you get the least amount of power. It's downwards, it bounced, and it's still 73 kilometers per hour after all of that.
Sometimes the physical art in this game are just marvelous. And one thing that is marvelous as well is Newborn still fighting and keeping their lead while Pawns is slowly marching forward as a unified team. And Venny here tried to get that ball in the middle of the field. Biz might help him. Kaka might take the shot on target. Gav might be able to follow up. No one there for the Pawns defense. And again, Newborn take a 2-goal lead.
And it's another counter-attack. Council Serb Pawns, they're great on offense, they're pretty good on defense, but this transitional period, I feel like they could have done with a little more work on. I think we mentioned before, Kingsman Gas been coaching this side up to the level they've gotten. We saw how well they handled the DSQ side before. This one's trickling through though. Kaka with an important save there to keep Green Phoenix out in the lead. They want to keep this buffer. You know, a quick game 3 would be fabulous for their mental. If that timeout hadn't resulted in some early success, we could have seen them fall apart, but it hasn't just yet.
Yeah, and like you said, the timeout buff might be real because they had 3 minutes to just relax, to talk it through, to create the ultimate game plan against Pawns here, against the Pawns that that having a good coach behind them as well. Kaka, a whiff like that definitely doesn't help the team. Luckily, Gav was there to follow up. Venny now, last man on the Newborn side, tries to take control. A little bit of an awkward touch, but managed to get it all the way into the other side. Kaka tries to follow Biz, wins that 50-50, takes an infield pass, only finds Ryzen, who's losing to Venny. Kaka clears it on towards the backboard, tries to follow up, takes a quick shot on target, will go wide in the end.
Council still looking to continue his playing. That's a big bump from Biz. Who's going to be on this ball next? Venny, but with low boost. There's not an awful lot he can do. Using this boost late to try and get back on it, but there's no follow-up touch. Risen now with the play. Beats out the first. Can he get Kaka? Cut in. Bounce around the corner. Venny was close, and Polar can't get the touch. So once again, an opportunity by the way. So Council Serb, if they're going to take this game, they need to put more up. You know, you could argue they can save themselves for a proper go in the following game, but that would be a little disingenuous. They want to get this closed out here and now, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I think every team wants to, at this point, just close it here and now. Quick shot on target across the smoke from the demo, but Venny saw it and got that save. I think, like you said, if they're gonna save themselves, it will probably be like after the final, if their final 15 seconds are in. But so far, a whiff like that from Venny. Biz takes it underneath. 1 minute left to go, and it's only a 1 goal difference. The game has been blown open right now, because if this goal wouldn't have gone in, then I would argue Newborn will take this one pretty easily. But with that only a 1 goal difference here, Newborn has to be very careful, because Pawns can force another overtime.
This Council Sir Pawn side have adapted really well in the middle of this game. They haven't needed to take a timeout. And I think if they'd been playing this game from the very beginning with these kinds of demo plays, which we've just started picking up on from around the 2 minutes mark, they could have won this outright without conceding any of those 3 goals. They are in the position they're in, though, and they will want to be getting a touch on this ball as it trickles towards the net. A dangerous bump from Gav continues to leave it open. Polo with a weak clear straight to Kaka between 25 seconds. We're still in this yellow half of the field. Risen now with an attempt at the tap, but Gav with another touch of time running out. Venny closing in, and that 4th goal, I think, is going to seal it for Green Phoenix, despite the best efforts of the Pawn side.
Yeah, and what I wanted to say earlier is now kind of useful as well. Is you said earlier, you don't want to save yourself for the next game if you're like a minute in, or you still have a minute to play. But now it's the final 15 to 10 seconds. Now is the time where you think like, okay, let's just keep the rotation, let's keep the momentum that we have, don't make stupid mistakes, don't concede any more goals unless you have stuff like this. Why is it guessing too early? Everyone? Well, I may call it too early, but this is also a mistake that shouldn't have happened. And still, they're not making, the Science of Pawns is not making stupid mistakes, they're still playing their normal game. And that's the point. If you just play your normal game, you might be able to force something. At least you're not doing anything stupid that will cost you even more goals, which will cause you to lose momentum. But here, it's on 0 seconds. Ball will most likely touch the ground. That's an awkward touch. Newborn take game number 3. I might have cursed him in the end there a little bit going into the next game. But that's a risk I'm willing to take.
No, it's some good momentum from Pawns. If you cut out those first minute, just that first minute, in fact, you strike off that first minute. Pawns win that game 3-2. They close out the series in a sweep. Newborn timing that timeout really well to change up their game plan a bit. And they've got another minute now to make some adjustments to the Council Sir Pawns' really quite demo-heavy plays here. Let me check the numbers. 7 demos between all the players, which doesn't sound like a lot. It's only a single-digit number, but considering most games, we maybe see like 5 between both teams combined. So a very strong concerted effort to bring this game back through physical play, and it almost worked out for them there.
Yeah, and one thing, like you said, demos. In this game, Venny had 2 beautiful demos that led to 2 goals, or at least were in the same play as those 2 goals that gave Newborn a lead here in the end. Because one demo was just removing the last defender, and then that is easy. You have an open net to shoot at. So if you miss that, then you have to scratch your head on like, am I really playing good here in this series? But the physical play on both sides is creating a lot of space. And obviously that's what demos are for. Demos, bombs, any disruption play in general causes that effect. But now, game number 4. It's still do or die for Newborn. But they're in a little bit of a momentum favor that can force a game 5.
Listen now. Play off the side wall, going to be blocked out by Gav. Got to be careful when you drop those balls straight in. Your teammates need to be aware of where it's going and how long they've got to get there. Biz, though, is able to continue this one. The corner is going to be awkward to get the ball out of. Gav does a good job of it nonetheless. Risen over to Polar, rounds it up off the backboard. It's not going to be a goal just yet, but Council Sir Pawns showing that they've still got what it takes to take the last game they need to progress to the playoffs.
Yeah, and here a beautiful infield pass. Gav a little bit too far, but we have a rule 1 in the goal line between Kaka and Polar. And then, if it's not clear, communicated clearly, then a touch like that from Gav is gonna cost you dearly, and it happened here as well. Pawns score first.
No, I'm actually quite impressed by the sponsorship there. It's if you're going to go for rule 1s, go for rule 1s and actually commit to it. If you're not going to do it, don't hold your opponents there and then try and make the most of the play when it comes to an opportune time. So I respect that a lot. However, given the gravity of this game, I personally would not be holding a Rule 1 here under any circumstances. Sorry, chat. Risen, going to be trying to make the most of these opportunities now. Councillor Sir, of course, have the lead off the back of that Rule 1, pretty much. And the ball now rolling around. Biz trying to pick this up, and it's a bit of a mess on the defense, having to back off, get this ball back out, but it is going long now. Gav, a critical touch, gets it onto the backboard. No real shot opportunity going to come through for the pawns there.
Fanny tried to clear it only to find Polar. Biz wins the 50-50. Follow-up shot will go on the woodwork. So close for Pawns to take that 2-0 lead. Fanny here winning 150, has to back off because doesn't have much boost. Polar will try to make a touch, doesn't make contact. Biz doesn't make contact. And Ryzen has to follow up on his own touch. Fanny now jumps all the way across the field to get one touch to keep it away from the Pawns players. And this ball is going left and right, up and down, anywhere where Newborn wants it to be, so it doesn't touch any of the Pawns players. And now a big clear gives Polar that ball. He doesn't have boost, picked up the big bat there. And Ryzen whiffs as well. Kaka infield pass. Fanny's shot on target will be cleared by a Pawns player and Kaka in the end. Gavka try to follow up. Shot on target wins it 50-50 there in the air to keep it in the Pawns corner, but still nothing really dangerous from that Newborn side.
Is this one through? Oh no. Oh dear. I got completely thrown by this missed touch from Gav here. It looked so trivial, and the ball just wriggles its way towards Riz and Venny, doing the best they can to get a touch on that ball, but it's not enough. And now 2 minutes 30 seconds. We've seen Green Phoenix's difficulty to make up these deficits already within this series, and now they've got to do it with their tournament lives on the line, not in the series, but just in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on the shoulders of these three players that have to carry the team together, and they have to use everything they have against a roster like Pawns that is playing out of their minds right now. Because you lost that game number 3. You could have ended it there, and now you have to come back. And so far they're doing it really good. They're punishing every mistake Newborn is making. And Biz a little bit awkward in the corner, but does get it clear. Kaka have to leaves it for Gav. Tries to get an infield pass, gets pass 1, gets pass 2, dunks the final player, 150 on the clock, and it's only a 1-goal lead for Pawns.
That's such a big play. Like, I can't state how monumental that's going to be if Green Phoenix take this series. They need another goal yet, but that could be the start of something huge for the Newborns here.
Yeah, and when you started the sentence, you wanted to say, obviously you said big play. I thought you were going to say prospect play, because that is just prospect to the max. Just go head first, force it through, and see what happens. And it paid off. It's the big play there. And a faker on the goal line might get a second one, but Ryzen gets the clear.
And it might not just be the clear. That's another tap along. It's off the backboard. Double tap potential. Not made up. Biz off the corner. Polar. The last one back. Risen, though, going to delay the offense from Green Phoenix here and allow the Councillor Sir side to recover. Burn down even more time. Remember, they don't technically have to do anything anymore. They just have to stop that ball crossing their own net and make sure it hits the ground once that series second time goes off. But we're doing far more than that. Risen with the drop straight down. A follow-up from Biz gets it off the backboard. Polar not going up for that. A wise decision, I think, considering the time and the score. He's going to try and make an attempt himself off the sidewall, but no follow-up there from the Councillor Sir side.
Oh, and every time where there's such a close call in front of the Newborn net, I'm sitting here with my hands covering my eyes, like, please don't score. I don't want to have another mistake like this. No, not on any side. You just want to get beautiful team plays, or at least like something in a team play trend that goes to a goal, not something where it's a whiff like that that's probably gonna cost them a goal. Resident tries to get it past 1. Fanny saves it in the end, but Polar is there to follow up, taking his time to take it into the air. Gets it past 1, almost gets it past 2, but Fanny denies.
No, I don't think Risen quite had the idea of how much time he had. If he got that on top of his car, it would have been far more threatening. You can go for a flick, you can fake it and go for a demo. There was only one person on the back line there, and that could have got it across the line. The Council of Sir, they didn't need that goal. All they need to do is keep this one out. Kaka would have been player of the game if it secured overtime, but the Council of Sir Pawns are going to be progressing to playoffs this evening.
This game had it all. Pawns being dominant, Newborn showing signs of life, bouncing back into it, but in the end, it was not enough. Pawns, the team that was not even supposed to be here, is now going to playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I had been confused about that. Is it supposed to be the top 6 which play
Yeah.
in play-ins?
Yeah,
Wow,
it's
what a statement!
It's top 6, but the number 5 in their conference sadly was disqualified, and then Pawns was the next team to move up, so they got 6th seed in their conference because of that. And now they beat Livens, they beat Newborn. 1 game 5, 1 game 4, and now they are through to Championship Saturday.
And the reckoning is that it was Risen that was picking it up for Council Sir here. It's really showing that this team isn't a one-man band. You know, anyone on that team, I think, can really step it up at any time. We saw Biz, massive plays last series. Risen, less games, but still putting up a huge number of goals. That's 5. That's more than 1 per game. That's actually a massive score.
Yeah, I'm speechless at this point. My prediction is out the window. I thought Newborn was gonna make a deep run here in this bracket, but Pawns, congrats. You showed everyone what you're truly made of, and you just did it against 2 pretty solid teams. And it was close in some perspectives, but it was just sheer dominance in the end.
So true. Now, there is 1 more game left this evening, but I'm not going to be here for it. Are you going to be here for it, Tavish?
I'm not going to be here for it either. It is going to be Sporty and Big Chaps taking that final series. The next series is going to be the final one of the play-ins. It's going to be the other upper bracket match. So don't go anywhere. We'll take, I want to say a short break, but it's probably going to be a little bit longer. And when we get back, you'll see the final team who's going to go into the lower bracket and the team that's going to advance in the upper.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me holding. Got me holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes sound funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Play me like a bass guitar, simmer down and mash me up, tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around and go right forward, shivers down my spinal cord. Oh, 'cause you got me holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes sound funny,
back to you until you make amends with the demons you've been through. And I can't regret leaving you alone until you find your way back home. Until you find your way back home. Don't let me drown. Don't let me drown. Don't let me drown. Until you find your way back home. I can't regret leaving you alone until you find your way back home.
You got me thinking all I did was wrong. Guess you got all you wanted. Yeah, I don't know why suddenly you're gone. You'll never be forgotten. Pretending no one is to blame. Too late to reignite our flame. How did I not see you running? How did I get left behind? How did I not see this coming? Guess all you left me run. Guess all you left me run.
So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. Coming for the throne. Coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. Coming for the throne. Coming for the throne.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the final game here in our Wednesday stream. We're now in the upper bracket, where we see second place from Ignis Mosaic take on third place from Glacies in Palmists, and we're finally up in the upper bracket. I'm excited for some good gameplay, and yeah, which team will make it onto to stay in the upper bracket for the upper finals for Saturday. So definitely one to look forward to. This is the game that players want to win to stay in that upper bracket, give them another life when it gets into Saturday. But I am joined by the lovely Sporty as we look to get into this first game. And how do you think this one's going to go?
Well, this one will be very interesting. As you said, again, you can see that kind of bracket double elimination in its sense for both these teams, but we've already seen one team from that, not get that win that they wanted. And here for Palmas and Mosaic, it's going to be a tough one. Again, qualifying into that upper bracket is no easy feat, and there's so many other scary teams waiting below, and it's, at this point, getting into the best of series, getting into those kind of, those matches which, gets them further in that playoff, further in that hunt for that, top place finish. For both these teams having finished just outside of that top place, which would have auto-qualified them in, they've now got to fight to get to that spot, and it's going to be a very difficult match indeed. All that they've done already may have gotten them this far, but there's still a lot more they can do to continue their run here in RSC.
Yeah, definitely going to be a big game. So either team could be the one to drop down. Both teams looking very solid in league play. But yeah, it all comes down to this game. I think this one is one that teams have to win to keep their mentals up for the rest of the bracket. But looking here at the players we have on the pitch today, looking over on the Palmist side, we've got the mighty Buckets, been around in RSC for a long time, as well as Chomps and I think it's Lukey. Two players I think are still quite new to RSC, so definitely some players looking to make their names here in the playoffs. But on the other side, Mosaics, we've got three long veterans here in RSC, looking at Stones, Talga, and Gandhi, also known as XBXHII. So three players that are definitely big names in RSC, so it's going to be a tight game, I think.
Yeah, and I'm already noticing that there's a good amount of defensive stats that we should talk about here. Buckets and Talga, as you mentioned, have some pretty high savior statistics as well. And again, on the other side, as you mentioned, that kind of veteran, work, we could see it being put to the work here with both these players getting some really strong plays. And now that you're in the playoff bracket, now is when that pressure really builds, and now is when these players need to show, if they are veterans, that they have that veteran status, or if they're newer, to really show that they can play under that pressure, because the pressure, for the first time I think of this season, is really going to get to these players.
Just as we get here into game one, Mr. Sporty, how do you think this game's going to go? Who do you think is going to take this one?
Well, I know that these players are already about to get in, and I'm ready too, but before we get in, we might as well talk about it while this series is getting onto it. Remember, this is the best of 5, so someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, and the last time these two teams met, Palmist took down Mosaic, and they do it again. Well, we'll see about that. I predict they will, and I think it'll be exactly how they did in the regular season, 3-1.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go the same kind of way, but I think it's gonna be a really tight one. I think 3-2 in the eyes of Palmists, but getting us underway here, back and forth already. But Lukey trying to get it away straight away, but Talga forcing it back into their half. Stones keeping the pressure on. That's a bit of an open net, but Lukey is able to get back to it. Gandhi follows in, gets a bit of a touch, leaves it out for Buckets, who bangs it forward. Talga's there, gets a good enough touch to keep it in that corner. Isn't able to get it away, but Stones beats out, gets there first, and Buckets meets it again in the midfield. And you can see both teams kind of feeling each other out, kind of banging it back and forth, but no one really putting anything too dangerous on there.
Yeah, but I don't think you want to call it too early. There's still so many things that are yet to come in this series, and as you said again, just a little bit of a feeling out process, especially in a situation like this, in a matchup where you are these high seeds, and we've got to kind of keep that high seed going into these high pressure situations. It's not surprising to see teams take things slower, to slow things down, and to maybe not play as aggressively, as carefree as they did in matches before during that regular season. And well, I think for all these teams, knowing how closely related they are to each other, and again with the last series having been so close between Palmist and Mosaic, there is going to be a lot of pressure on them. There's going to be a lot of reasons to maybe try to slow down the start of this series and really pick things up as it goes on, as Chomps couldn't put it in, but already a great chance there from Palmist.
Yeah, they try and get a little follow-up again, play it straight back down, but not able to get it. Puts a nice shot on net, but Stone's there to meet it. And now they try and push it forwards. A man that we can talk about. He didn't play too many games for Mosaic. I know he has a lot of IRL kind of commitments. So Mr. Gandhi is definitely someone to keep an eye on. And the mechanics that he holds is definitely something to not laugh about in RSC, especially in Prospect. So definitely someone to keep an eye on. But as he tries to bring it forwards, he's up very quickly, gets a good touch, almost puts it in, but isn't able, comes off the post. It stays 0-0 as we tick almost past the halfway point. It's still very back and forth, no one really with a clear opportunity, that being the best of the game. And yeah, really don't know which way this is going to go right now.
Yeah, but we'll see, which way it'll go very soon. But as you said, these teams just kind of throwing the ball to the back wall, testing each other's defenses. That's a miss there, but it is saved by Gandhi. And as you mentioned, again, that back wall being heavily tested. And at this level, it is not easy to take those reads. It's not even easy at some of these higher levels for players to make that read. But here, it's going to be very difficult, and it's a very easy way to get early goals, is to force teams to go to plays that are tough to make. But I must say that really nothing much hasn't happened. I haven't seen enough from these teams committing into aggression, and really in playoffs, I mentioned how risk-taking really matters. And taking those risks can really help you as Mosaic took over his there, but it was in their own backfield, and it was against a Lucci player who just got up faster.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake there from I think it was Gandhi and Stones in the middle. I wasn't too sure, but bit of a double commit, pitched it up in the air and pretty much left it completely open for Chomps to put that one in, and now trying to challenge straight back again, but another good save, as now they're kind of looking for this equalizer, but so far nothing, as Gandhi tries to put it middle, no one's there to meet it. Tauga a bit too slow to it, doesn't get the touch. Stones meets it at the halfway point, but no one able to help him. But now Gandhi up, this is where he's dangerous, gets up in the air, gets the flip reset, isn't able to get the second touch, but Tauga gets there first, hits it the crossbar, and isn't able to get that equalizer. But now a minute 20 time running out here for Mosaic, as Chomps gets a lovely touch, it gets the double basically, lovely redirect, gets the double of the scoreline, and even if it wasn't intentional, that's a beautiful goal for Prospect here, and yeah, already looking very solid in game one.
Full belief that was intentional. I mean, Chompies is usually known for getting those passes, and that one, I mean, he boosted into that. He knew exactly where he was going. Maybe the initial pass wasn't intentional, but that shot definitely was, and what a way for Palmas to get their second goal, and it's a team that's running with that momentum, running high with the pressure. They're looking to continue with, and I'm surprised to say that Buckets really hasn't done all that much in this game, because, I mean, he's known as one of the most aggressive players in the league, as this one will be saved by Lucci. Buckets is gonna race back. He's known for spending a lot of time in front of the ball. With Palmas playing this far back, it's actually starting to become a detriment for them. But it hasn't been a detriment with what Chompies has done with the ball, and he's worked so well. As now Lucci to Buckets, that's gonna go in. And I was mentioning we need to see the aggression from him. Here it comes from Buckets. Lucci with his third assist of the game, and Palmas just starting to warm up, get things going.
Yeah, the third goal going in for Palmas, looking very, very solid here in game one, but all on Mosaic to kind of answer back as we push on in this series. But Stones up, gets a good shot up on net, but Chomps is able to get back to it, tries to go forwards, met by Tauga, ball goes middle to Stones, no one there, but Stones doesn't get the connection. It stays 3-0 as Gandhi's up, able to meet it. Doesn't get the greatest of clearances, but Tauga able to get there, maybe able to get the follow-up, gets the hook shot, hits the post, but it goes in. They get a goal back, but maybe too late, but definitely what you want to see in the eyes of Mosaic going into game two.
Yeah, the Aztec organization may have not appreciated that first game, but well, this is not even close to being over. They've still got a lot more that they can prove here, and again, reminder that the Mosaic and Palmas team, again, played before. They know what it's like. These teams are closely ranked for a reason. But it is this visionary Palmas team that, you know, started off so well, have the better series record for a reason. And to start off in this series, they're going to have one game to themselves as Lucci, who I didn't really mention any stats about him, but it really is, you know, maybe those stats aren't telling too much about how he plays under the pressure, because this was an incredible performance from him.
Yeah, definitely 3 assists. The player that's got those passes under control, but Chomps with 2 goals, 4 saves. He does everything. Gets those shots off, gets those saves, and really solid performance in game one. But I think it's all on Mosaic to kind of answer back going into game two. That goal right at the end might give them that bit of momentum here going into game two. But yeah, I think just I expected a bit better, but I think they're still warming up and getting there.
Yeah, I don't think we should ever count any team out, especially not in a situation like this, especially not in the playoffs. But again, it's going to be quite the series. I'm excited for it. I'm ready to see what will happen, because again, it can only get more interesting from here. As again, Palmas, as we expect, you know, we both predicted Palmas to take this one, but Mosaic, it just didn't feel like they really had their game under them yet, and it feels like they need a little bit more time to get things going, and that time can really eat away at you. So unless they have, you know, figured out something legendary, it's going to be an interesting way to, you know, try to get themselves back into it, because one game can very easily lead into 2, can lead to more, but we'll see if that's the case here.
Chomps and Tauga get it underway, goes in the favour of Palmas as Buckets tries to get it forwards, but Stones meets it very early, isn't able to get anything going with it though. Luki ends up beating out Tauga. Now Gandhi on his own at the back is able to get it round 1, goes for a dunk, does get the second touch, and now it's just him versus Buckets, but Buckets does good enough to get away from that bump and keeps it away, and Palm is finally able to get it out as Gandhi gets a bit of a touch, puts it middle. Tauga isn't able to get there, Trumps gets the shot off, and that's an early goal for Palmist, and they saw that goal coming from Mosaic at the end of game 1 and said, we don't care, we take the momentum back, and they get that goal 32 seconds off the clock, and they take the lead.
Yeah, it's a great start for a team that, you know, again, want to make sure that they get as much momentum as possible. It's tough to really get things going in playoffs for a lot of these teams that may not be as used to it, but we're seeing Chomps, and I think you mentioned, did you mention that Chomps was maybe a veteran of this league, or?
I think Chomps is still quite new.
He's still
compared
quite
to
new?
the other players, yeah.
Well, he isn't playing like that. I can definitely say this is a player who is just playing so consistently well, is really leading his team into a lot of great situations for them. And I expect this to continue as Gandhi couldn't get it, but Tauga will, and Mosaic with an answer. It's, you know, last game they couldn't find one early enough. This game, though, they give themselves a better opportunity.
Yeah, good shot from Tauga. Gandhi ended up almost kind of forcing the fake, which caused a bit of confusion on the back line, but the equaliser goes in as Stones might be able to get the second. He doubles it. He gets that lead for the first time in this series, and yeah, I think the dodgy kickoff strikes again as Stones gets around it and gets that goal, but it's just so much better from Mosaic.
Yeah, they need it. Again, I said, you know, they're cooking something up. We need to wait to see what they would do, but obviously they've done something drastically different. And now we'll just see if they can continue it. Is that one off the post and wide? It almost fell in for them. Now Mosaic with another chance here, trying to make it free. The dribble past Lucci, Chomps with a block. Buckets will pinch this one away, and Palmist really feels like they're starting to panic, starting to get outpaced here by Mosaic, and that is something that can really hurt you here in this league.
Mosaic have upped the ante slightly. They know that Palmist are a solid team, so they've got to do something about it. As Gandhi goes up in the air, goes for the touch, isn't able to get it. Buckets with a good save, and now Chomps tries to bring it forwards. And Tauga meets it first, gets the touch. Stone's trying to do something with it, but isn't able to get anything. Gandhi's up early, does get the pinch, but Chomps does well to block it. And now not able to come forwards. It ends up in a bit of a smoke screen, and Tauga gets that third goal. They go 2 goals ahead, and I think just a bit of chaos in the back line there from Palmist, but in the end works out well for Mosaic as they take the lead 3-1.
Yeah, and I saw a couple demos, and well, this Mosaic team isn't a stranger to demo plays, that's for sure. In fact, actually, when it comes down to the leaderboards, actually, they have Tauga, who is known for his demos. He's actually number 10 ranked in the total demos in the league, but haven't seen too much use of it, though, from him. I mean, they got it from last goal, but haven't seen enough of that aggression from his team to really warrant those demos of any huge difference. And yet they're still bringing just a great pace. This is a team that has recovered from that game 1 and has really brought the fight to this one, and they're just continuing their onslaught. Gandhi puts it in, and Mosaic have another one, and we're only halfway through the game.
They've woken up now. Gandhi gets that little dunk down into the goal, puts it pretty perfectly as there was 2 defenders there waiting for it, but puts it in a spot neither of them can reach as they now go 4-1 up, and it's a completely different team to the one we saw in game 1. As I think everyone has now got on the score sheet for Mosaic, but it's completely up to them. We saw 4-1 in game 1 in the favour of Palmist, and now in game 2 the opposite. So looking into game 3, I still think anything could happen, but this is so much better from Mosaic looking into this game and looking into the rest of the series.
Well, I mean, you may have cursed them because Palmists are about to make that comeback happen if they continue this. A pass infield, and this is a little more like what Chomps is known for. You know, assisting things, Buckets as well, getting a goal, which is something that Buckets has done so often this game. And, well, here's a response from Palmists. They still have 2 minutes left, and a comeback cannot be counted out at this point.
A really good goal in the end. Lovely bump from Chomps on that back line, but with 2 minutes to go, yes, anything could happen. Palm is still looking for this third. Lucci goes for the bump, isn't able to get it. as Mosaic try to get it away, but Chomps puts it back in there. Lucky cuts across, keeps it in that half. Bucket's not able to meet it now as they kind of leave their back line open. Stones puts it on that backboard. Gandhi beats it early, isn't it, to get the touch. And now Tauga puts it on net again. Bit of a double commit, but they get the ball away as Gandhi keeps the pressure up, tries to get it forward. Stones gets a touch, isn't able to get it on target as now Parmis come back down the other end. Tauga keeps it in that corner, keeps the pressure away from the goal line. Stones takes it up high, takes it forwards, tries to pass it off to Tauga, who gets the touch, plays it up high, chomps up for the pre-jump, isn't able to get it as it's floating dangerously near Parmis' net, but Buckets gets the save as Stones keeps the pressure on. Gandhi gets the touch again, isn't able to put it on target, but they keep the pressure alive. Gandhi pushing it forwards, up in the air, tries to get it under Chomps, gets the flip reset, isn't able to do anything with it, and now it slowly peters out for Mosaic.
Yeah, again, some really fast, heavy pace, heavy aggression offense here from Mosaic. But one thing I've seen from them that I don't think most would mention about is just how strong their recoveries have been. I mean, this is a team that's throwing a lot of players up very aggressively into one play on offense, and they find ways to get back so fast. And again, that prevents what their offense could have been a detriment. And instead, it's a benefit because they're getting back to defense, but as fast as they're getting upfield for offense. And again, you know, for this team here in Palmas, they're struggling to get upfield and get some space because as soon as they got upfield, someone's waiting back. As here comes a shot on, and again, Mosaic, they were up on offense only a few seconds before, and already everybody's back. That speed from Mosaic has definitely increased, and well, that's why they've taken this game here.
Really solid showing from Mosaic. They got that goal late on in game 1. I think that kind of carried over into this game 2, and really solid all round. We see Gandhi go from the bottom of the leaderboard for Mosaic to the top, takes that MVP in game 2, and I think really kind of shone more in this game. But looking at the shots, 11-4, definitely the more solid all round showing from Mosaic here in game 2. But we're tied up in the series. We've still got at least 2 games to go, and I still genuinely think this could go either way.
Yeah, we'll definitely see about that, which way it will go, or really who can take it, because again, we saw it. This is Mosaic who played just after a game where they really did look quite lost. And, well, now in this game, things have changed. Things have gotten a little bit better from a little bit brighter. Really did limit the options for the Palmas, and a lot of it is from that pace, getting back to defense that really solidified this game win for Mosaic. And if they can continue this, Palmas will struggle because they are not winning in pace. And, you know, a lot of their reliance is on, you know, Chomps, and now it would be on Buckets. I mean, Chomps and Buckets are the more aggressive players on this roster usually. So you're going to have to see them work and find space together, because if they aren't going to be able to outpace Mosaic, they'll just have to outplay them. And that is something that I think they can do, but they haven't shown yet.
No, I think they looked really solid in that first game, but we haven't really seen too much of it in game 2. One person we did mention in game 1 that didn't really do too much in that game was it Luki or Lucci? I still don't really understand how to pronounce that name, but the assists and saves that they had in game 1 just didn't really come across into game 2, looking a bit more I wouldn't say lost, but didn't really show too much in that second game. But I think that would definitely be something that will keep that game going. But now 30 seconds into this game 3, bit of a back and forth, but Gandhi's able to finally break out into that attacking third, but met very quickly by Lucci, who plays it forwards as Tauga now on the back line, plays it forwards, nice bomb from Buckets, gives the possession back to Parmis as Lucci comes off the wall, tries to play it forwards, but is met by Gandhi as Chomps keeps the pressure up, plays it back across into the middle. Stones meets it as Chomps and Gandhi have a little bit of a tussle, but Buckets up early. Tauga not able to meet it, but Buckets plays it away onto the backboard, even though it might have been going in. There's a bit of a confusion from Chomps and Buckets. Again, more confusion as Tauga breaks out, but is anyone able to meet it? No, Chomps plays it away. Still 0-0.
And continuously, Mosaic are testing that back wall of the Palmists doing it as well. And again, it's that back wall still becoming kind of the crux for a lot of these teams here. It's not an easy place, to read that ball. And again, both these teams being tested. But I will say, as time's gone by, these teams have gotten a lot better at reading it. And now teams are starting to mix in demos into play. Here comes Chomps with one. And I know Mosaic and specifically Tauga have gone for a couple of themselves. And Again, you can see these offenses continuously adjusting as that pass almost hit by Lucci. Stones wants to clear. Buckets to the corner. Clear by Gandhi. Stones wants it to the midfield, but Lucci will send it back. And Palmas, again, trying to just push away from Mosaic, but this time it's not so fast, it's not so hurried, it's a much more methodical style. Recognizing that Mosaic definitely will get to the ball, but instead of trying to outpace them to get to it, just get that ball and force it through them with 50s and with good team play instead.
Yeah, definitely a much better idea here in game 3. They know that they can't outspeed Mosaic as they've really upped the speed, so they're just trying to outplay them, get those passes going like we saw in game 1, where Lucci got those 3 assists. But Mosaic now trying to come forwards as Talga gets a bit of a fake on the corner, but isn't able to do too much as Gandhi now is able to get it over Chomps, tries to get another touch, maybe goes a bit too early, isn't able to get there. Buckets plays it forwards, both Lucci and Chomps a bit out of position, but now Talga tries to bring it forwards as Chomps cuts across, but it ends up back with Gandhi. Chomps with a great demo on Gandhi, Stones maybe a bit awkward, but he is able to get the touch. As Palmas slowly amping it up, tries to play it across, maybe too hard. Chomps not able to meet it as Talga now tries to bring it forwards, doesn't get a great touch on it, but Gandhi puts it up on the wall, isn't able to follow it as Talga ends up in the way. But now Stones, good cut, comes across, blocks out the shot. As Palmas now trying to push back into that half. As Gandhi is denying it, pushes it back into the midfield, and we're seeing a lot more of the midfield control in this game compared to games 1 and 2 as Buckets puts one on target, but Gandhi is able to get it away.
Yeah, this has been the game with, it's taken the most amount of time before we've gotten to that first goal. We are a full 3.5 minutes in and still no one's been able to score. As Gandhi's going to test that net again, Chomps will get there, and I just, I haven't seen enough push from these teams. Well, we have seen just 2 teams that are just, working to not play too aggressive, but I've got to see a little more for it as that one will be blocked by Gandhi. Buckets. Putting in the corner, bumped by Talga, but Palmas, again, trying to take this measured approach, not trying to push too high. I mean, they're waiting for the openings. They just haven't come to them, though. As Mosaic waiting in the back line. Talga. And a miss there. Lucci to shoot. And it's a big miss in front from Mosaic. Palmas will take the first goal. And it's off of a Mosaic mistouch. What a strange way for them to get their first of this game.
First proper mistake here in game 3 is instantly capitalised on by Palmas. Lovely finish in the end from Lucci after a big mistake on that backboard. But they take the lead 1-0, still a minute to go as Palmas looking for that second, pushing forwards as Talga tries to clear it away, maybe not the best. Chomps with a bit of a miss, good bump onto Lucci as Stones puts it middle, isn't able to get the greatest of touches. Gandhi not able to do enough despite being put into quite an awkward situation. And Buckets puts it in, gets that second goal, and again another small mistake from Azteca, instantly capitalised on by Palmas.
Yeah, at this point, those small mistakes will get magnified even greater. These teams are used to seeing teams make a mistake. They're used to capitalizing on teams who've made those mistakes. You cannot make them again, or else they will recognize it as a clear from Buckets. Chomps, Lucci, looking for one more for Palmas just to secure this game for them, but that pressure still riding high from Mosaic, who know what to do, who definitely aren't afraid of that kind of, pressure against them. It is Palmas who's just going to waste time, let it tick away here from the game and from Mosaic's here. As this one, now in the midfield, it's Gandhi second! Oh my, Gandhi! Mosaic have a chance!
This is what Gandhi's known for. Slight mechanics in prospect always go a long way, and Gandhi gets that double, does really well to read it. And they get a goal back, maybe a bit too late, but with 5 seconds to go as Stones and Lucci get us underway. Maybe not, it was the other way around, but Buckets plays it forwards and maybe too late for Mosaic as Palmas, despite that late goal, take game 3 and take back their lead in the series.
Palmas in a great position. They could win the series with one more game and, get themselves to, again, advance into that upper bracket. It's going to still be a tester. I mean, we saw how long it took for them in this game to get a goal, and we'll see if it can continue, if they can do it again. But as we've seen, we know that Mosaic like to make adjustments, will make adjustments if you aren't ready. It's going to be a real challenge as, again, What a performance, though. And again, it's Chomps who now has those assists. This is a little more like what I expected from them. Chomps with assists, Lucci and buckets with goals. And Mosaic being forced on that back line. Only 3 shots for them this game, and it all came from Gandhi, and it is going to become an issue for them if they can't get shots on this team consistently. Because, again, we saw Palmas get a little bit more aggressive, get into that game a little bit more, and just wait until Mosaic cracked. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, definitely. Palmas looking really strong in that third game, looking more like they did in game 1, but kind of more what we expected with the goal scorers in that one. But really, really solid from Palmas. And I think Mosaic have got to do a lot to kind of answer back. They did it in game 2, so I can see them doing it again. But yeah, I think it's on Tauga to kind of step up in this game. I know he's a very good kind of what's the word? Rotational player, able to kind of play the ball out from the back very well. But we haven't really seen that too much in this game as Gandhi meets Lucci very early and Stones straight up for it. Does get a touch, but Buckets gets that one first. Tauga goes for the double to play it forward, isn't able to get there. Chomps meets it. As Gandhi now on the wall, tries to go up, isn't able to get the touch off the wall as Stones bangs it forwards. And Lucci gets the touch off the wall, goes to Tauga, but Buckets meets it again. And a bit back and forth, but Mosaic with a bit more of an opportunity, but Lucci puts it forward. I start talking, and the opposite happens. Lucci gets this opening as they take the lead 1-0 much earlier than in the last game.
Yeah, and it's from the exact same issue for Mosaic. That back wall defense is falling apart. And Lucci just hasn't missed it all that often today. And now is not a good time to see if he will miss it here because this is match point for the Palmas. They could win this one from this game alone. And unless Mosaic can make adjustments, they're going to struggle as Chomps again trying to find that pass and again trying to test Mosaic on that backline. Mosaic will have to play strong because from here on out, they're going to have to play, you know, with a lot of ferocity because that comeback's got to happen. It's Stones with a dribble, and Buckets got back. Great defense here from Buckets, keeping Palmas in the lead.
Absolutely amazing from Buckets. He got bumped away by Tauga. We were talking about Tauga and his bumps and demos earlier, but gets the bump off on Buckets, but Buckets does amazingly to get back and play that one away. But now Palmas trying to come forward. Lucci up early, isn't able to get the touch. Tauga goes to meet it, ends up near the wall. Chomps is there too, but so is Bucket. But now Gandhi bringing it forwards, leaves it in the corner. Lucci there to it first. Tauga a little bit too slow back to it. But now Stones is a bit awkward, leaves it through to Lucci, hits the post, and now maybe a little bit open on the back as Mosaic pushed straight away forwards. Lucci's able to meet it. Still dangling in front of that goal as Buckets puts it away, and that was the opportunity there for Mosaic to capitalise.
Buckets missed, and yeah, and Mosaic again using that quick pace to get themselves downfield. We're trying to get that counterattack as now a drop in front. Gandhi could have put that one in, but he was not able to get full contact. Now Stones, pinch. This one's bouncing in front. Lucci's got the block. Stones wants another chance. It will be sent out here by Chomps. And it's just going to the net again. Buckets, 50'd. Here comes Tauga. And this one is just dangerously flying in front of this Palmas net. And they are not jumping very early to get to this one. And so they're leaving themselves susceptible to these quick attacks from Mosaic. And yet still, they're able to get through. Mosaic wants another chance. Buckets will save that one, though. And Palmas, again, being tested heavily on that back line. But unlike Mosaic, they aren't breaking at this point. They aren't falling apart. And they're keeping themselves together. That's why that one goal lead from them actually seems a lot stronger than it really does look. Because their defense is just becoming so tough.
Yeah, Mosaic with lots of opportunities in that short little moment, but not able to capitalise on quite a few open chances. But now still looking for that equaliser as Gandhi is able to meet Lucci, but doesn't get enough. Stones plays it forwards. Both Palmas players quite far forwards as Stones pushes it again back into that half, gets it across. No one's there to meet it. It's not on target, but Tauga misses as Chomps brings it forwards. As Gandhi meets it early, gets the 50, but Chomps stands strong as Bucket pings it forwards. Stones keeps it in that corner as Lucci tries to get a pass middle, but Tauga's able to meet it. Releases a bit of that pressure. Chomps a little bit awkward. Plays it forward now. Gandhi up quickly, but Bucket is there, but doesn't get touched. Stones in two, hits the crossbar. Tauga again for the follow-up. puts it in goal. Stones with a great redirect to tie the game up. 1 minute 21 on the clock. And Mosaic have made this fourth game very interesting.
And that was completely unexpected. Stones was in the back of the net, came out off the ceiling, and he gets the final touch. Mosaic are bouncing back. It took them some time, but they're able to make it happen. And Palmas, well, if they weren't sweating already, they've got to sweat now because this is getting very heated. And Stones another chance, and Lucci with another block. And Palmas again just becoming such a tough team to break down, and it's gonna take more than just that to knock them as Gandhi, miss, Lucci, off to the corner, in comes Stones, a pinch in front. Mosaic continuously keeping that ball very close to that blue net, waiting to see if Palmas will fall apart, but Palmas haven't done that. Now drops Lucci, wants it, but he can't put it on. And it will be a bump that from Talga that will lead to open space down the field, an open space that Mosaic should be able to use, but Palmas again keep it away.
Really strong showing now from both teams. We've really amped it up in game 4. Neither team wanting to lose this one, as it puts the pressure straight back on them if they do. As Chomps tries to get something on it, ends up leaving it. It goes forward, Stones into Lucci, who now puts it back in that corner, piling pressure on. Isn't able to get a really good touch over the top of Talga, but isn't able to do too much as Chomps plays it straight into the Mosaic defense. Stones goes for the demo, isn't able to get it. Good 50 from Talga as he plays it across. Chomps clears away as Gandhi now keeps pressure, pushes it across to the side. Stones maybe a little bit too far back as Lucci drops it to the ground, and we've got overtime.
And we've got a situation here where the Palmas only need to score once to win. This could be their chance to move on through to get themselves out of upper bracket. But they've got to fight for it, they've got to work for it. And it's not going to be easy. Mosaic aren't going to make it easy, but it's open, Buckets, and he's missed it. He went over the top of it. That would have ended it, but Buckets couldn't get around the shot. And Palmas, I think Buckets specifically, would wish he had that chance back.
That was a big opportunity for Palmas to take this series, and it's now Mosaic who could cause a bit of chaos as they bring it forwards, but Chomps is able to meet it. Lucci without any connection on that one as Stones puts it to the sidewall, gets the double, isn't able to get the double as he tries to play it middle. Now Palmas bring it forwards, Bucket still with the ball, he gets it over both of them. It hits the post, however, as Gandhi ends up double committing it, but doesn't get it away as he tries to take it forward. Lucci's pinched, ends up middle, goes to Chomps who tries to keep it there, tries to beat them, double commit now as Talga brings it forward, just Buckets on the defense. Talga trying to put it middle, but Buckets does win that battle as Gandhi with a whiff on the wall, as now Chomps tries to bring it forwards, takes it towards that corner. Stones with a good 50, but it's quite open in the middle. Talga does manage to beat them to it, and it's very much back and forth now as Talga goes up early, goes for the shot, ends up missing it. Chomps very awkward, goes for the squishy, does end up making it, as now Gandhi tries to bring it forwards. Buckets with not the greatest of touches, keeps it in that corner. Now Gandhi with a nice little touch in the corner, plays it middle, no one there to meet it. And that was another opportunity wasted by Mosaic.
Getting some of these opportunities, you know, through no fault of their own, but they aren't making them actually matter. They aren't scoring off of them. And it's Palmas who are going to thank their lucky stars that this game isn't over already, because any of those attacks that we just saw from Mosaic could have ended it, could have been the one if they just had a little bit more quality. And instead, it will be a, you know, maybe a slight mistouch from Mosaic, maybe a, you know, a good touch from Palmas that have kept them in it. And at this point for Palmas, I think they just want to score just to end it, because it does feel like Mosaic are getting so much good momentum, so much good pressure from this. And if they're able to win this game, well, things are only going to get worse for Palmas, who really can't allow that to happen, as Talga, Lucci, off to the side wall. Gandhi in the midfield, looking for something. It's a clear from Buckets, but another double commit from Palmas, and this is starting to become an issue for them if they double commit this often. Their defense is being tested, sure, but what's also being tested is their nerves. And the nerves are starting to get to them if they're committing this heavily. That communication's breaking down. A team bump by Lucci. And again, things are really not looking great for Palmas. They're surviving somehow, but I'll be very honest. I don't know how they've done it. I don't know how they'll continue to do it as a pass in front. Bucket! The score! Palmas may have looked weak, but they're not out of it. One final punch, and they've knocked out Mosaic.
Stones committing that tiny bit too far forwards, leaves it very open as Buckets is able to flick it into that net. And what a series we have from Palmas. And Mosaic played so solidly, and it's such a shame to not see that go to game 5, not just for my prediction, but for the game's storyline. But solid series all round, and I think visionary and in Palmists being so solid in just their defense today, I think is really what kept that edge in that game.
Again, a strong showing from the Palmists who played it so well, who gave it everything. As again, just again so strong from them. As again, Chompy's being named as series MVP for obvious reason. Again, Chomps has been insane, 3 goals on 9 shots. But what really impressed me again was his ability to get do both the shooting and the assist making as well. And it's 7 saves again, just a strong all around performance from him. And I expect for this visionary Palmas side to see this continue, because this is a team that can definitely strike against some of the best in this league, because they themselves are one of the best.
Yeah, definitely. I think Palmists fully deserving of that one, but again, Mosaic's just really solid game. I think Chomp's fully deserving of that MVP. I think he did lots of everything as his stats showed. Lots of defense, lots of offense. He got a few assists in there. He was just all round a solid team player. And I think the other two in both Buckets and Lucci both played really solid as well. And I think despite Mosaic having all those opportunities, not able to capitalise on them, I think Palmist stood strong, stood their ground, being the higher seed team out of the two, definitely take it on into the rest of this upper bracket, as now Mosaic will have to fight their way out in that lower bracket. It's going to be a really strong, I think, final 8 here in Prospect, and I'm just excited for Saturday.
Me too. I'm excited to see more of this playoff bracket unfold. But again, that is it for tonight. All the matches have been completed. As again, Palmas with a big 3-1 win over Mosaic to end things out. Again, congratulations to them. And it also means if we can pull up that bracket producer, maybe one more time, if that